And what about Egypt? Egypt, you say. What does Egypt have to do with anything? Good point. Not a word of criticism. Why Egypt? Egypt borders Gaza. Egypt has built a huge wall to prevent the Palestinians in Gaza from leaving. People left Syria. They went into places like Turkey and Jordan and so forth. Egypt will not allow Palestinians to leave. Obviously, Israel can't because they come into Israel, which is who they attack. But Egypt, Arabs, Palestinians, Arabs, Muslims, no. The Egyptians refuse to allow the Palestinians into the Sinai Peninsula. They refuse to let them escape. Egypt is doing this out of internal politics, not for national security reasons. It doesn't want the Palestinians to flee into their country. Has anybody pressured Egypt? Has anybody heard anything about Egypt? No. Not a damn word.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 1,000 cities around the world. We just finished 16 years of broadcast excellence, now in our 17th year. The Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. Israel was attacked during a ceasefire on 10/7/23. This was set in motion by Iran and their 7 dwarfs, 8 if you count the UN. 1,300 Israelis were murdered on that day, except for the 250 or so taken hostage. And the tunnels for an excruciating 22 months where they were raped, murdered, killed, approximately 56, half of which were killed, and the other slaves still exist. One was shown by Hamas digging his own grave a few weeks ago after being starved to death. Half his weight is gone. Jews and Christians and moderate Muslims looking for sympathy and attack of the murderers were fed a bunch of BS by most of the world, blaming the Jews for this, while demanding a 2-state solution, ignoring the fact that Israel gave them Gaza, another state, in 2005. They failed that test miserably. Are Gazans blaming Hamas? No. As they rant, kill the Jews from the river to the sea before, during, and after the attacks. Finally, Israel decided after the 18th or so ceasefire disaster that they were taking God's guidance to defend their country. As it turns out, not only did God contribute miracles, but guidance for the IDF right up and through the big daddy of all, evil mullahs of Iran. Now, what do the Arabs who call themselves Palestinians think right now and during and before this happened? Israel is listening to enlightened idiots like France, Germany, African countries, and Australia. They may have another amount of solution to this because the remaining Gazans backed the attack on Israel and may relocate to those who want them. Well, let me look at it this way. There go my weekend plans to visit Paris, Melbourne, and London.
Of course, the way to end this is for Hamas to surrender, to release the hostages. They started the whole damn thing. They killed civilians in Israel. They're killing civilians in Gaza. But all the pressure is on Israel. The world could put pressure on Hamas. What has Britain done? Nothing. France, nothing. Germany, nothing. Now they're doing worse than nothing. So Hamas and its allies like Qatar's been behind this from day one, but there's others. And throughout Europe, and even in the United States, we have elements in the United States. They've launched a massive campaign against Israel in the media, heavily drenched in anti-Semitism, including these photos of emaciated babies published by the New York Times and others on their front pages, accusing Israel of actively starving these children.
Hi there, welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. I'm here with my lovely bride, Lisa Ann Weinbaum, who's early, made me my really good breakfast. How you're on it today? What's up?
And I'm really quiet today too.
Why is that?
Well, because you don't want me making noise over here.
Well, I didn't want you to turn on like stuff that's the show recording, like you do every single week that you're here during the monologue.
Well, now we have an exception. There's nothing on.
Okay, but now that particular part of the show is over. So you may redact yourself and you may speak whenever you want to. Just don't hit me.
This is
Then
not
don't
a court
don't
appearance.
hit me. No, see, there it goes again. Just stop it. It's too early in the show for that. And also we have JP Maxwell across the way. He is the producer of the show.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, JP. Rick Henderson at home. He did all the clips. Nearly scared us to death when he was chopping firewood instead. And also I want to talk a little bit about my outfit. As you can tell, I have I don't know if you can get a close up on me or not, but I have a picture of a friend. Yeah, there it is. That is one Kent Dinsdale. He was on his deathbed very recently, having several really horrible diseases, including cancer and prostate problems, and he wasn't getting any better. Finally, they took him to St. Louis. They did one last operation, and suddenly he's better. Now, I know a lot of people, including myself, prayed for him, and we continue to, because sometimes these things happen and things go the other way. And so far, though, so good. Thank you, God, for that. And please give him his life back if you can, to die at a very, very late age. Yes.
I just have to, normally we don't address the comments this early, but we have Steve Lester who says greetings from London. So we've got an international person
London,
here
and I mentioned London just now. I wonder if they had a way of getting that to him. So we have somebody listening from London. How cool is that? Okay. All righty. So now we got a great lineup today. We got J.J. Bradshaw. He's lurking in fact, he wrote something, didn't he?
Oh, yeah,
I think he just wrote something to us. He's ready. All right. Well, we'll get your butt on the phone and let's do this. Rabbi Moshe. Oh, this should be very interesting. The Gazans don't want to go anywhere. They want to stay home, and nobody wants them. And that was the argument I had last week with the rabbi. So it'll be interesting to see what he says. And we have the two names that God gave himself. I want to get that out too. Elohim and I forgot the other one. I don't know. Jehovah. Yeah, Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think it was Jehovah. All right. So, anyways, and then we got Chris Adamo. He's always great, and he was kvetching a lot about him being called early last week. So my thing to him is that just be glad you got called at all. So we always have interesting conversations, and we are friendly, but I like to kid people. And 10 o'clock, we got Don Mayhew running for Senate in Missouri. And your other good friend, Bill Hardwick, and we got Jeff Zink, and this will be amazing. He has started a drug company, one that buys pharmacies all over the country, and you know more about it than I do, right?
Yeah, we just had exploratory talks about my wife potentially being, if they were to, let's say,
Yeah.
bring a facility here in our area, potentially be an advisor or administrator for them if they were to do that. And also, I'm looking into possibly being an insurance broker to help sell medical plans to individuals and employers to help get costs down for the employer and the employees as well.
That's great.
And give them better healthcare coverage. So just
All
kind
right.
of exploring that option.
Well, right now I'm looking at what happened to him. He went away. I was just ready to introduce him, and there he is. I think he's back. Are you messing around with me, or? Ladies and gentlemen, he got mad because I said, come on, and I talked for another minute, probably. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the great surprise for you. Not so much, because he's been on the show just about every time it's been on since the beginning. He is now somewhere practicing with his firearms. He's an expert on the Constitution and the law. And this brilliant man, he does his own interview basically, and I love that because it's less work for me. But here he is, 257 years old. I got it right. All the way from somewhere in Missouri, my friend John Jeffrey Bradshaw.
Thank you, Dave.
JJ, what's up?
Well, I'm hearing a little bit of audio crackle this morning, so if this gets too bad, I will just call you on the phone. But for the beginning, we'll give this a try.
Okay. You got to stop eating those snap, crackle, and pops things.
Yeah,
because it's not good for you. It's not good for you.
Right on that.
They've asked Jeff. Jeff knows. It's just not good.
This morning, I've got an awful lot to say about Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. is a mess, not only political, but they have serious crime problem, which they have been denying. And I'd like to address some of that,
sure,
if you don't mind. First off, Donald Trump for 30 days is going to have the National Guard assist the D.C. police, Metro Police, in wiping out the crime in D.C. and also getting the homeless people someplace else. Surely you've read all of that in the news.
That's all you see these days.
Let me go into a little detail on that. First off, Chuck Schumer, a person that I hold in low regard. He's barely a human being. Chuck Schumer said, "We will fight tooth and nail against Donald Trump bringing National Guard troops in D.C." Okay, Chuck, what you're saying there, if you boil it down to its essence, we like the crime. The crime keeps us in business. So we're going to fight Trump.
And what the hell do we care? We got armed guards. We have armed guards. He's a senator.
Yeah.
We have armed guards. They got limos.
Yeah. It gets worse than that, Dave. Chuck just happens to be the figurehead of the morons in Washington, D.C. I think he ought to wear a T-shirt that says "I am stupid." So Chuck has.
It exudes from whatever he says. He doesn't need to wear a T-shirt. Everybody knows this.
You know, our president has the capability legally for 30 days to have the National Guard come in and help the D.C. police. There is a movement afoot in Congress to extend that, which is going to have to require a little change in the law. But there's 3,400 policemen in D.C., and they're pretty demoralized. We're talking about crime statistics here. You hear folks like Muriel Bowser, who is the mayor of D.C. And by the way, she took off. She's in Martha's Vineyard right now, so she doesn't want much part in any.
Smart move, huh?
But anyway, she said our crime's going down, our murder rate's going down. Well, some D.C. cops came and were whistleblowers and said, "Wait a minute, we have a murder." Some lieutenant shows up and turns it into assault. To try to polish this thing down and make D.C. look like it's a relatively safe place. These are D.C. cops that are admitting this stuff.
That's why she left town.
She doesn't want any part of this.
At first she said, "Oh, we're going to cooperate with President Trump." And I guess somebody sent her a message, probably Schumer or somebody, and said, "You can't do that." And I think she was conflicted, and then spouted these lies and then left town.
Well, it's even worse than that. If we go down a notch or two to the D.C. police chief, Pamela Smith, who was apparently a DEI hire, she was asked the other day about chain of command, and she didn't understand what it was. Now, Dave, I'm a veteran. Let me tell you something. The second day of boot camp, you get drilled into your head. You know what chain of command is. Every cop knows what chain of command is. And here is the head of the D.C. Police Department, DEI hire, that doesn't know what chain of command is. Well, it's no wonder these people have a problem, Dave. It's pretty clear to me when you've got somebody at the top of the heap that has no clue about chain of command, who's running this show? Somewhere.
Thank God she's not up there guiding airplanes.
Oh, my Lord. So these 300 or 3,400 Metropolitan Police Department officers are actually going to be under the control of the head of the DEA, whose name is Terry Cole, and National Guard will be under the Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll. Now, why does that matter? Well, these are some folks very, very much like Tom Holman who don't fool around.
Good.
These are folks that say, this is what we're going to do, and by golly, it gets done. That's so different from Washington, D.C., where there's a ton of talk that occurs and absolutely no action, or any action that gets taken is in the wrong direction. We got a couple of guys here who are going to kick some butt and take some names. In the first day, the very first day, they snagged 29 illegals, 45 arrests for people that were criminals. They've gotten guns that are illegal, confiscated. These people aren't fooling around.
And how do you know they were criminals? How do you know they were criminals if they were not in jail?
Well, the criminals run rampant. One of the problems in D.C. is juvenile crime.
Right.
What has happened is there are no penalties. If you're a juvenile under 18 years old, you can get away with anything you want, get a slap on the wrist, and the next afternoon you're back doing your crime again. Carjackings in particular by young kids, 16, 17-year-old kids, are rampant in D.C. Now, why haven't you seen any of that on the news? Because there's a hell of a cover-up to try to make the place look like it's nirvana instead of the pig pen that it has become. I think it's wonderful that Trump's doing what he's doing. And the way they're doing this is pretty slick. Rather than have platoons of National Guard folks running around 14, 15 guys at a time, they're pairing two National Guard troops up with a DC cop, whether it's a detective or not. These are the cop's backup. The cop does the arrest. The cop does all that stuff. All these guys do is organize things, keep things subdued, keep things from turning into a big, ugly deal. This is so different than the way National Guard troops have been deployed in the past. Remember way back in ancient history, Kent State? Remember Kent State? I remember that,
yes.
Where we had some students that were killed by National Guard troops. That was pretty badly done. This is being well done. Somebody's doing some planning here, and it's working. Oh, Schumer hates it. Muriel Bowser, the mayor of D.C., hates it. Their current police chief, who's not long for being police chief because she's shown to be such an idiot, she's going to bail. She
Yeah.
hates it. In
We
fact,
politicians hate it, but you know what? Even the blacks in D.C., the average black person loves it.
yeah.
They love it because they're just as vulnerable to these crimes as everyone else are.
Oh, more so.
And they hate it.
Dave, they have been the victims of these crimes.
Here they
Black
are.
on black crime is
Oh,
rampant.
look at Chicago. They're murdering other blacks, little kids.
Yeah.
Are getting killed there in the south side of Chicago. I know that very well. And people that have relatives there who are black. Some of them were on the football team at Evanston Township High School. Some of them went to professional football, and they know. I've said this to them in the group. I says, "What are you doing about all these kids being killed in your neighborhoods that you're from?" And they looked at me like I was from Mars. I said, "I'm serious. You guys are leaders in your community. Kids look up to you. Why aren't you taking care of these other guys that down there, demanding some police and get some leadership there?" And they didn't have an answer to it.
Well, it's a way of life.
Yes.
You get
JJ, I hate to interrupt you. We're probably going to need you to call in because the static is overtaking the audio. It's really hard to hear.
I'll do that immediately.
All right, give us a call, buddy. Get rid of that computer too. What the hell's going on with that? Anyhow, yeah, this is a huge issue. Not the yes. What? Oh, you have to have my phone. Oh God.
I know.
You forgot my phone. I didn't forget my phone. You forgot to get the phone.
Still singing that same.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I have it. I had it. I forgot I had it. No, that's he's a young man. He's got he can do it. So now it's my fault, right? Hello, are you there?
Oh, you bet I'm
here. Well, you can't see him, but he's there. And just because you can't see him does not mean that he's a remarkably handsome person.
Well, sorry about the audio issues.
Yeah, we got to get something with that. We ought to have you buy yourself another computer or something. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. So
yeah, I don't know either. You'd think that with my talent, I'd be able to fix that, but I haven't been able to find it yet.
What is it you used to do? Be an engineer?
Yeah, I'm an electronics engineer.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, well, the shoemaker's children have no shoes, so that's the way that fits.
Well, I'm going to have to send Bob Willis down there too. He's an engineer.
Well, that'd be fine. Maybe we'll sit on the porch and have a cocktail and talk about how bad things actually are.
Well, yeah, I talk to him all the time. I play golf with the guy once a week. He gives me lessons.
Let me change subject here for a moment.
Okay.
Gerrymandering.
Yes.
If you recall, the Democrats left Texas to avoid having to be defeated by a vote on gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is redistricting by use of the census. The way this thing is supposed to work is we have a census every 10 years, counts the folks, and then the state legislatures or committees can redistrict. They redraw the lines of a district ostensibly to make things more fair, give everybody an equal opportunity. Gavin Newsom has just taken this to a brand new level. Gavin Newsom, governor of California, has been raising Cain about the gerrymandered districts in Texas. Looks like the Republicans going to gain 5 or 6 seats in the House as a result of redistricting. Newsom says that's unfair. We're going to redistrict California. He's got a little problem. Redistricting is done every 10 years in California by statute, by a committee. It is supposedly a bipartisan committee. Well, now Newsom says, no, we got to redo that. We got to outdo Texas. So what we're going to do is have a special election. Going to cost about $250 million to do this.
Oh, sure.
We're going to have this special election. And we are going to toss the committee out and allow the legislature to do the redistricting. They used to do that back in Reagan's time. And they found out it was so partisan, they went with a bipartisan committee. So Newsom's got a little problem there. But what he's trying to do is offset the votes in the House of Representatives, that there'd be more Republicans in Texas. He wants to have more Democrats in California, offset this thing, and keep the chaos and inactivity of our government as it has.
Well, in other words, it's another way of stealing elections. My question to you is that if it's every 10 years, is it every 10 years for everybody on the same day, on the same month?
No.
Okay.
The way this works is we have a census that occurs every 10 years at the turn of the 10-year mark. So from 00 to 01, there will be a nationwide census. So we count all these folks. Now, unfortunately, we count the illegal aliens as well, and that's being worked on by Trump. We should only count citizens, but in the Constitution, it says everyone. So I guess that counts the folks that are here illegally anyway.
Well, gee, don't you think our border problems? Don't you think our border problems, Mr. Producer, border problems? I want to play this for you.
Sure.
Yeah, border problems. Let's listen about what previous presidents and others have said about border problems right here. It's going to take a couple seconds just to get it on, but this is pretty interesting in terms of what it used to be like in previous administrations. So we're getting it. We're getting it. Da, 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 da.
Hey, this is live.
Yeah, da, 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 da. There it is. There it is. Yeah, what changed?
Yeah, that was Bill Clinton for Pete's
Bill
sake.
Clinton. It was Hillary too, and it was George Bush, the young George Bush. All this in the late '80s and early '90s.
The fact is, though, all of that was nothing but talk. There was a little bit more enforcement, but it was nothing.
Well, what do you think they did? Why did the Democratic Party let all those people in? Why do you think that is?
Well, they're going to make voters out of
Bingo.
They've got permanent Democrats.
They've already done it. They've already given these people licenses and to drive cars and things like that.
These folks are on Medicare and Medicaid.
Sure.
You've opened the floodgates.
And they're paying for all these changes in these districts. That's counted. These guys are counted in these districts. That's what real gerrymandering is. I knew him, and he was an awful person, by the way. A son of a gun, cheat on everything. Gerrymandering. I'll never forget him.
Yeah, Dave, that was a groaner, but okay.
Thank you very much. Oh, come on! What are you doing here?
Yeah, the fact is, the Democrats dropped these.
Well, hold on a minute.
Absolutely.
Hold on a minute. Yeah.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?
The bastard part wasn't for you necessarily.
No, but it is.
Okay.
You know me pretty well, so
I know.
that definition fits okay.
Yeah, I know. So, Yeah. So what do you
Back to
got?
the corruption in our government. Adam Schiff.
Yeah.
Adam Schiff is barely a human being, and every time I look at him, I'd like to see a hangman's noose around his neck. But that's just me. Okay, that's nothing but opinion.
No, there's a few
It's
others
not
that
a tr-
there's a few others
But,
probably feel that way too.
This traitor, they've been trying to get to this guy, and they may have found a way to do it. Pam Bondi declassified some emails that have Adam Schiff and James Clapper doing some pretty bad things. 2017, Adam Schiff was the guy that orchestrated the leaks of top secret material to the press. And of course, he denied all of that. We all knew he was cheating. Well, Pam Bondi, God bless her soul, has released some emails that said, looks like Adam Schiff did that. Release of classified information is pretty serious crime, and it's got a pretty serious prison term.
Well, let me just say, let me put something in there. It's a very bad crime and a felony when you tell the FBI to spread the story, and they know it's a lie. And he did that. That's where the federal government comes in. These guys lie all the time, but when you tell the FBI to do your work for you like that, then it's a felony.
Is this guy going to be prosecuted?
I think he will. I'm looking at the news, and it seems like he's going down. Yeah.
Good. I hope he takes a few others with him.
He'll take anyone he can to make it easier on himself.
James
Clapper, CIA, another guy.
James Clapper, when he was Director of National Intelligence, overrode the objections of NSA Director Mike Rogers way back when on Russiagate. Now, you and I have suspected that Russiagate was a big old made-up mess to begin with, done by Hillary Clinton's campaign. I think that's fairly well known at this point. Clapper was the one that pushed this thing above the objections of his other national intelligence people who ostensibly had the real facts. He pushed this as a political thing, try to get to Trump. Looks like these released emails implicate him pretty badly in this. And as Pam Bondi said the other day, whistleblowers are coming out of the woodwork on this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
She said herself and her staff are approached every day by people who have been quieted by the Democrats for fear of retribution. Now there is no fear of retribution, so here we go.
Sure.
I think her folks are being overwhelmed by the volume of this stuff. Now, is it enough to take to a grand jury? Is it enough to obtain a conviction? I don't know.
Well, you're missing who was the source? Who was the source of the Russia thing? And you ought to go back to that, because all these 3-letter agencies were reporting there was no collusion between Trump and Putin. They said it just wasn't happening. And they were telling the president at the time that, and suddenly after the election in 2016, Barack Hussein Obama started spouting this story out and directing people in his staff and the FBI, conspiracy, that there was fishy stuff going on between Putin and Trump.
That's based on the Steele dossier, which was completely made up.
Right.
And pushed by Barack Obama and all of his minions. I put out the names last Thursday.
Yeah.
That you recognize all of those names, and they are all minions of Obama.
Now, the question I want to ask you is, why did he do that after the 2016 election? What was he trying to do?
He wanted to make sure that Trump was ineffective. All of the things that Obama had put into place, the lawfare, the welfare state.
They impeached him twice. They were trying to disqualify him and make him miserable and not go and run again ever. And
They
so
wanted him to be ineffective enough that he would tuck his tail and run.
yeah,
and of course he did not.
And after 2020, they followed that up with the 1-6 fiasco, which was a fraud.
Yes.
And they brought back this deal about Russia, knowing full well was a total lie, and knowing full well that they fixed the 2020 election, by the way.
Yes.
And they thought they had Trump twice, 2 or 3 times. They thought he was just gonna go away. And
Well, the point is, Dave, though, they got away with this stuff because they were in power. When you're in power, you can bury this stuff.
Right. And
you can put high classifications.
It was in the burning. It was in the burning closet of the FBI, getting ready to be burned up.
In burn bags, yeah.
Burn bags.
They were all surprised when Trump won this thing.
Wow. Well, let's see what they do. Boy, I tell you what, it's not even that they're probably not going to put Barack Obama in jail, although he belongs there. It's not like that, but some of them might be going, and they're just going to tear themselves apart and blame each other. And I'd say I'd give it about 10 years before they're effective again. What do you think?
That may be not quite effective enough. I think as these dominoes fall and these folks point to each other and turn state's evidence for immunity, I think you're going to see a huge conspiracy in the Democrat Party. And I think once the public has seen this and the light of day has shined on it, I think the Democrats are going to hell of a time for more than 10 years.
Well, it could be. It's hard to predict politics like that. Yeah,
to clean that up.
You would think that the next guy in is going to be JD or Marco and all that. And I don't see these guys screwing up this bad. I don't see them as being as corrupt. Yeah, on our side, they're just not that corrupt. I don't think either one of those guys are corrupt.
I think they're exposing corruption at a tremendous pace.
Yeah.
And, the beauty of it is people like JD, hard to get dirt on them. They just don't have any dirty dealings as opposed to, say, an Obama, a Biden, or a Clinton, where dirty deals were the name of the game.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this is so much of this has been highly classified, and the folks were sure it would never see the light of day.
Right.
The Trump administration is going through with a chainsaw and undoing all of that high classification, high political.
You know what? You could say, "Oh, that's just him doing the same thing." No, this is him actually going after criminal players who are worthy of the punishment that they deserve. Trump didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. Okay. They set him up constantly because they were scared he might succeed, and then sure at the end that he was out. Okay, so anyways, can I see there's some messages for JJ? I think, I bet you. Yeah, there it is. Good morning from Oklahoma. That's where you're at, right?
That's where I'm at.
That's from Roy Maddox.
Yes.
All
Good
right.
morning, Roy.
Is he your son?
He is my son-in-law.
Son-in-law.
My daughter's loving husband.
And Patricia Odin Maxwell, the official pastor to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Looking good, sounding good. Go team. Thank you, Pastor
We love
Pat.
you, Pastor Pat.
And Steve Lester II. Do you know Steve Lester II? Greetings from London. Da, 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 da. Is that a song? I thought it was like,
with the there's been a lot of headlines out of London about their federal government accomplishing censorship. I wonder, is she violating their laws?
Oh my gosh!
Years ago?
All right. Well, don't tell anybody, Lester, because we don't want we don't want to scare you away. But
Yeah.
I'm Jewish, and if I was there saying what I'm saying, I'd probably be in jail.
Oh, they'd be after you.
They'd be after my ass. All right.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't miss that one. And good morning. Great way to start our Friday. Well, thank you, Rotary Club of Rolla Lunch. Thank you so much for waking up early and actually
you.
having breakfast with us. Thanks, and I hope you're going to McDonald's. All right. What else you got for me, sir?
Oh, we're way over time, Dave.
Yeah, we
so
are.
I'm
I
gonna
got the
sign
rabbi.
off and listen to the rest of the show.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Let's all hear it for John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Okay.
God bless you, Dave.
Thank you, buddy. Let's talk to my next guest. He's back at home, it looks like. And it's probably 98 degrees out there right now, so it's probably not sitting outside. But he is a wartime rabbi. He has taken care of IDF widows and their children to the extent that he actually brought them to America a little bit ago. And he's the author of the book Israel. What does it say? What?
Secrets of the Hebrew Bible.
Secrets of the Hebrew Bible. All right, please welcome all the way from Israel, my friend Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. So I've got to open this up with a question first.
Okay.
I watch Reels a lot. Do you ever watch that on Facebook?
Yeah, sometimes.
I mean, you see a lot of dumb stuff, but you also see some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
And some of it's religious. So in Reels, the original names that God gave to us that we're supposed to call him is Elohim and Jehovah. Is this legit?
Well, it's a very complicated topic. The first chapter of the Bible uses the name Elohim, and then the second one adds the second name. We just say Hashem, which means the name.
Yeah, Hashem.
Right. So, so there are different names that are employed in the Bible for God, but they're not all describing God's essence. They're describing the way we perceive God. So, like, for example, if you're in court and you're sitting in front of the judge, so you'll refer to him as the judge or your honor, because that's how you interact with him, as the judge. But when he's home, he's not a judge. He's now, he's a father. He's he's a husband. So the names of God, they define how we interact with him. So, for example, Elohim is how we see God as the controlling of nature and science. And, you see the power of the universe, thunder, lightning. So that's how we experience, God in that way. But then when you have a baby and you experience God in the tender moments of life, so that's the name Hashem, which is a different way that we experience God. So the Bible uses like 7 different names for God, but they all have their place. The same way that you, Dave, are, say, brother, father, husband, uncle. You have different names indicating the different roles you play in your life.
Well, what if they call me Schmuck or Putz?
Well, if you play that role, then they'll call you that too.
No, they won't. Because they won't say it to my face. That Putz.
Right.
That Schmuck. You see?
No, maybe not to your face, but they may call you that behind your back.
Well, some of them call me that to my. It hurts my feelings. Can you hurt God's feelings if you call him the wrong name? I guess you would.
Well, to the extent that we sort of personify God, we refer to him as a judge and all these things, I guess you could, but God is infinite. He's beyond human understanding. So,
all right, I want to play something for you, and this is a clip from the amazing speech that Mark Levin made about a little over a week ago, and I want to get your reaction. Play 3, please.
They create anti-Semitic, they're blood libels. That's what we Jews call them, because we know it leads to nothing but anti-Semitism and hate and the killing of Jews. It was a damnable lie, and the Times knew it when it ran it. That baby that it showed on its front pages a few weeks ago had cystic fibrosis. It had absolutely nothing to do with starvation. And you'll notice his mother wasn't exactly starving either. But the lie spread throughout the world, all the Western media. And the New York Times said, I guess we better fix this. And they put out a phony correction, not even a correction, on a different site that nobody reads. The New York Times covered up the Holocaust. The New York Times has been a mouthpiece for Hamas. And now the New York Times is covering up Hamas's role in the starvation of its own citizens. Organizing a worldwide effort to push for a Palestinian state. It would be as if in 1945, on the brink of the defeat of the Third Reich, they were awarded, the Third Reich, with a country of its own. Let's say carved out of France or Britain. What do you think about that, France and Britain? Yes, reward them with their own country. What would this new state look like, this new Palestinian state? Where would it be exactly? What kind of government would it have? What kind of military would it have? Who is the Martin Luther King or Gandhi, the Palestinian figure who would lead it? Who is it? How would you prevent the Islamist death cults from taking it over? Or making alliances with communist China or communist North Korea or fascistic Russia or Iran or fascistic Turkey for that matter? Many choices, you know. What about them getting ballistic missiles? How would that stop? I can hear the isolationists in our country. None of our business. That's Israel's problem. None of our business. And why are there no proposals from the West? Not a single one. Directly calling on a single Arab state to carve out parts of their countries for a Palestinian state.
Now, I was reading. I'm like, before I get your reaction, I was reading a special story about this this Palestinian wishes about what should have happened during the war. They're all happy about the war, by the way. They think Hamas did the right thing. They thought nothing of the fact that 1,300 Jews were murdered and killed and raped, and babies had their heads cut off. No big deal to them, okay? And in terms of Hamas, if they had another election, they'd elect them back. So how does that go with your prediction that somehow they're going to move somewhere else, like maybe France or maybe Germany, maybe Australia, London?
Right. So first of all, as far as that was Mark Levin.
Yes.
It was 100% correct, accurate. Every single word that he said is completely accurate. And this perpetuation of this lie that somehow Israel is purposefully starving Gazans is, probably one of the most significant blood libels since the war began. And there's been others. And because it was on the front page of the New York Times, and Time Magazine took a photo that was staged, and every single photo that has been shown of kids starving has been debunked.
Yeah.
If this was in fact true, why do you need fake photos? If there's widespread starvation, I would think there would be availability of hundreds, if not thousands, of photos.
Sure.
Why do you need to use photos that are debunked? It's like.
Can I interrupt you? I want to get a definition of the word blood libel. What does that mean? And what is that history of that?
So the word the expression blood libel comes from the Middle Ages, and my experience with the Christian community has demonstrated that most Christians have no idea what this term blood libel means. The blood libels was a period in history where the Jewish community was accused of killing Christian babies in order to use their blood to drink, to use in the baking of matzah. Now, Judaism, as far as I know, is the only religion that absolutely prohibits the eating of blood. It's a verse in the Bible. You're not allowed to eat blood. It's a verse in Leviticus. And this perpetuation of this myth resulted in thousands and tens of thousands of Jews being slaughtered in the Middle Ages. They would take a Christian baby that had died or was killed, and they would plant it in a Jewish home or a synagogue, and then they would go on what's called a pogrom, a killing rampage. And thousands of Jews died because of this lie. And it became that they were known as the blood libels. In other words, they were liable, they were guilty because of the blood. And so that term, blood libel, is when you make up a lie about the Jewish community, and that lie results in not just some intangible result, but the result of that lie is that people die and people are hurt, and that's what's happening. The result of this lie is that it has endangered Jews worldwide, not just Israelis, but Jews worldwide. And
is this what the insurrection was in Spain?
Well, in Spain, it wasn't a blood libel. You're talking about the Spanish Inquisition,
right,
in the late 1400s.
What were they upset with their?
Well, they just needed Jews to deny their faith and to convert to Christianity. And basically, you had a choice. Either you leave Spain or you convert to Christianity. And it was called the expulsion or the Inquisition. And many Jews left, were forced to leave. And some of them stayed, pretended to convert to Christianity on the outside, but never really did. And, this was called the Spanish Inquisition, 1492.
Now, I say that because I was in Barbados for the first time 30 plus years ago, before I re-met my lovely bride here. And I decided to go downtown and ran into a cemetery that was attached to a Jewish temple, I think. And I went in there on my own. So I'm looking at these graves, and there were some like in the late 1400s and early 1500s. And so I asked around, and I guess that's one of the places people came over from Spain to survive what was going on in Spain by making them convert to Christianity.
Yeah, a lot of South America, a lot of South American countries absorbed many of those Jews that fled, and there's very good reason to believe that if Christopher Columbus himself wasn't Jewish, but certainly many of his sailors were, and the day that Christopher Columbus sailed was the day that the Inquisition, meaning that those who are calling for Jews to convert, which was the government at the time, or to leave, set down the date that Christopher Columbus sailed as the day the Jews had to decide. And so there are many people that believe, and there's very good reason to, that Christopher Columbus himself was Jewish. So, but that wasn't a blood libel. The blood libels was something different. And so when the New York Times posts a picture of a kid that has a disease, so he looks like he's starving, and they know perfectly well, because they edited the photo, they edited out a picture of his brother in the back who's perfectly fine, and they edited it out. Now, there is food insecurity in Gaza, meaning there's a war going on, and that's what happens with wars. And there's plenty of food going in, and according to even the UN reports, close to 90% of the food that comes in, which is more than sufficient, is stolen by Hamas. So once again, who are you going to blame, right? Israel, of course, because that's the way they operate. They blame Israel for everything, and Israel provides the food, Hamas steals it, and so now what? So then they say, okay, we're starving. It's just it's all a smoke screen, It's a smoke screen for Jew hatred.
Well, the irony of places like the New York Times and Harvard is that they have Jewish influence, if not clear ownership. And in the case of the New York Times, it was founded by Jews, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think is it the Ox family, OCHS? I think it was.
And the president of Harvard is Jewish, and they're about ready to settle on giving the Trump administration $500 billion, I believe, dollars back for being anti-Semitic.
Yeah, with that, I think it's right. 500 million. Is that what it was?
I don't know. It's either a million or a billion, huh?
200 million, I think it was.
No, it was more than that. There was one with another settlement with one of the other schools too.
Okay.
Yeah, look it up. What the hell? All right. So we're back on this though. Peace deal. You got Trump doing peace deals all over the world. Okay, he just did Azerbaijan and Armenia. He's flying in to Alaska to do Trump. I mean, not to do Trump, but to do Ukraine and Russia. There Abraham Accords coming because of this stuff?
It definitely is moving in that direction. I would say we hope so. Look, Israel has a good relationship with Azerbaijan. I believe we buy fuel from them.
Okay.
I believe we buy our fuel from them. So, so I hope that
he's doing this all over the world. I mean, he stopped wars from India to Pakistan.
Yeah,
and that was a long time war, and they still hate each other, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but I don't. This guy has gotten to where it's pretty good about what he's doing. It seems to me the average American likes what he's doing, especially in D.C., especially in getting the illegal aliens back where they belong, and notably taking pride in the fact that they're stopping murders and they're stopping all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But how does this affect Israel? What does Israel think of all this?
Well, I think these are good things. I mean, how could it be bad? So, I mean, I don't know. Did you see what Hillary Clinton said this week?
Well, yeah, that's how it could be made to be bad. Chuck Schumer and all these Democrats are just digging themselves into holes.
Yeah. Did you see that? I think someone posted that there was an anti-Israel rally this week, and in New York, and it took up like one block, and it was hardly anyone. And it used to be 10 blocks and thousands of people. Trump's plan to not allow or to get rid of those who are on these temporary visas, these students coming, it really demonstrated that these people that we're allowing into the country from jihadi countries that are anti-Israel. Now Trump's sort of cleaning up.
Well, I've also heard this morning, just driving into the studio, that there are people being paid to protest. They're being paid to
put
signs up.
Yeah, of course.
But there's hardly anyone involved here,
Yeah, of course. And what Hillary Clinton said, I think today, was that she would nominate Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize if he ended the war in Gaza. So,
if he ended the war in Gaza?
Yeah. And then
how's he supposed to do that?
Yeah. But she said she would nominate him for, he deserves one anyhow already.
Yeah.
For everything he's done, especially with the Accords. But
let's talk again about where the Palestinians are willing to go and who's going to send them there and who's going to accept them. Because I know you mentioned Syria, but I'm not sure this is the same kind of thing, because they don't want to go.
all that would need to happen is,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is for Israel announce, or the United States, that we're opening the borders and we're going to allow anyone who wants to leave Gaza to leave. And we're going to put you on a boat or a plane and we're going to take you to country X. Now, it does not matter what country X is. What you're going to have is you're going to have a flood of people that want to leave. And they don't care where they're going to go. They want to get out of Gaza. They don't care. But this is Hamas's nightmare. They don't want the population to leave. They don't want the young people to leave. They don't want a future for them. They need them. They need them as the human shields to keep
fodder.
The game going.
Exactly.
Exactly. And so if Donald Trump would find a country in Africa or a country in Europe or wherever to accept these people, and we open the doors, it would clear out 50% of the country. With 50%.
Now, in Africa, they're killing a lot of Christians, and these are also a lot of Muslim countries in Africa.
Yeah.
So they might want them, but would the Palestinians want to? I mean, it's been a mission for a long time, since even before Hitler in history, to have Arabs want to kill the Jews. Okay, it's not something that's new.
This preceded 1948. This is not at all about the quote unquote the Israel conflict. It's a smokescreen. 1920s, they massacred Jews.
Sure,
we're talking about something that's going on.
You can go back to thousands of years. You can go back to the Roman Empire and find this taking over Israel. And if they named Israel Palestine, weren't the Romans the one that named it Palestine?
That is correct. And
why did they do that?
Because in the Bible, that was the enemy of the Jews. So it's like they just wanted to give it a name to sort of turn the knife or pour salt.
The enemy of the Jews now has taken over as its calling, as the country that deserves. It doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? I mean, who was the king of Palestine? Was that Rome?
In fact, the letter P is not even in the Islamic alphabet. They claim they're Palestinians. You can't even say a P. It's really this.
Alaterians. I knew Al.
Yeah.
He was an okay guy, but he didn't like the Jews. I'll tell you that.
Right. So when the jihadis march in New York or wherever, they're shouting like Khaybar, Khaybar. Khaybar was we're talking about when Muhammad gave the Jews a choice to be killed or to leave or to convert to Islam. That's what they're referencing.
Right.
And they say, "Oh, it's not about Jews; it's about Israel." It's such BS. No matter where Jews are in the world, they're going to be a target of the jihadis.
It seems to me, from what I've heard of history and read in history, is that Muhammad wanted the Jews to convert. Correct. And he was out there trying to buy them off and convince them that this is the place to become Muslim, and it didn't work, and it really pissed him off, and he developed a hatred of Jews that he spread into Islam, and it's still there. Tell me,
100%. They first tried to convert Jews to Islam. They tried to make their religion have certain commonalities with Judaism because that was the plan. And when it didn't work, then Muhammad turned into a terrorist, and trying to slaughter and to kill and to force. And that's sort of the legacy.
And that has prevailed until today. Yeah, probably, if you look at Islam, it's probably grown dramatically in the last 20, 30 years, hasn't it?
It's I think the fastest growing faith in the world today.
They got about 1.5 billion people.
Yeah, something like that.
That's a big percentage of the earth.
Yeah, even if only 5% are radicalized, right? You're talking about 75 million.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So sort of like makes you wonder how Israel despite the fact that we got some help from some allies, including the United States, but also a lot of the wars were started because the United States allowed things to happen in places like Iran that made it feasible for them to attack us. So they were conflicted all through this. But still, it seems like it's incredible that the Jews did so well in that war, and that has to be guidance from God. Now, of all the things that you could think that God could have done or would have done or did now, isn't it something that the Jews finally decided that they were going to survive one way or the other, and if it needed be to kill the enemy and not have them stay there anymore and control where they went, and so they wouldn't have to worry about their own land? Isn't that something that God seems to have relished?
Well, I don't like to speak for God, but
what do you mean? Wait a minute, you're a rabbi.
I'm not the Pope, you know.
Well, to me, you are.
So,
even if you're from New Jersey and not Chicago. I mean, our Pope, he's from Chicago. Here, he's a Chicago White Sox fan.
Did you know him growing up, Dave?
I think he was a little younger than me.
Well,
he's a little younger. What, like 68 or so,
something like that.
No, I don't think he's that old.
See,
he's got a brother that's a conservative Cubs fan.
All right, so you didn't go to high school with him then?
You know what? No, I don't think so. I think he was. I'm not sure where he went to high school, but I certainly didn't clash out at Evanston Township High School. You hit who? You knocked down who?
Yeah. Sorry, Father.
Sorry, Pope. I'm a Jew. Will you still forgive me?
This
is crazy.
So, yeah.
Okay, so Iran has arrested 21,000 suspects over fears of Israeli collaboration. Well, there is a lot of that. But what's going on?
I guess they got to get one right. You know, if you pick up 21,000, they figure it's like.
It's funny, but some people are going to get killed over this.
Right. Obviously, that's not funny, but I will admit, and Israel, that we have collaborators. Israel has people helping, but 21,000. I mean, it's an absurd number.
Well, if you had somebody from Israel building a bomb collaboration in Iran, collaborating with other Iranians, and they're really working for Israel, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Look, the level of the elaborate scheming and planning that our Mossad does is unbelievable. It's really not believable. But I think the idea of 21,000 could be something like they know in a particular neighborhood there were two guys who collaborated, so they just arrest the whole neighborhood. You know?
Yeah,
that's something that they would do because they're insane.
What does it look like for the future of Iran and possibly getting back the population that really hates them?
Well, I think one of the not what I don't know if I would call it mistakes, but I understand we had to end the campaign with Iran, but we could have kept going and even destabilized the regime even further and caused a collapse, which would have been really a very good goal. Yeah. And maybe we stopped too early, which means that there's probably going to be another round, whether that'll be in a year or 2 or 5, I don't know. They keep saying, Iran, and keep saying they're committed to their nuclear weapons program. They keep saying it. They said it this week again. So, I think at some point, the regime has got to go, and we have to prop up the people that hate them.
Okay. Other than Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find your book and contribute?
They can go to secretsofthehebrewbible.org, get yourself a copy of the book, and go to our website, israelalliance.org, or facebook.com/Israel Alliance. Love to hear from you guys.
Rabbi, my father, he pretty much grew up in the liquor business. And so I was going to go into that business too, but I found out it was too whiskey.
That's a good one.
Oh, come on. What do you keep going?
More?
Well,
Yeah,
you
I
know
want
from funny, you bastard.
See, how can I not do that? That's too funny not to do. The Eddie Murphy bit. Are you insulted by that? What do you think? I need advice. Actually, I need mental health, but
Okay.
is that what you think?
All right.
All right. So you're not going to give me an answer. Chicken. Buck, 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 buck. All right. Huh?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. What about it?
Yeah.
That's New Jersey talk.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Anyways, go eat some spaghetti.
Okay.
You eat spaghetti? I think you can, can't you?
Why not?
You're eating it.
Yeah, we like it.
Oh, you like Italian food. All right. That's like why you like noodles from China. Anyways, thank you so much, Rabbi. Hi to your family. God bless you and God protect you.
Okay, thanks. Take care.
Bye-bye. Shalom. Okay, we're having fun, I think. I don't know. We're getting some nice little comments.
Some comments that were from Rabbi, I think.
Well, that's fine. Let me see it. I didn't know they were for the Rabbi. Let me see it. John Jeffrey Bradshaw, great job, Rabbi. I know he's listening right now. No, he's not. Regarding Levin's comment, call them Gazans, Arabs, Egyptians, even, but please do not Palestinian, because that's not what they are. Well, that's true. He's right. And another Steve Lester regarding Trump and Abraham Accords, getting Arab nations to sit up, take notice, and change their perspective, and the insanity theory. Why don't you move to the United States? Because London is going bad, and you know that. You need a report on that. All right. We're going to be back in a couple of minutes. Please go where you can spend your money with people that like this show. And by the way, I am allegedly the biggest voice of conservatism in Middle Missouri. A lot of people are saying that now, and I'm getting a lot of recognition. I mean, it's to the point now where I've got next week already booked. And usually it takes me, at least until maybe Wednesday to book the show. I'm done. I don't have to do any calling or anything like that. I got a great group of people going to be here next week. We'll talk about that later. Listen, buy from the people that are paying for this show. Thank you very much.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day. Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our #1 goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy, but also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender, all one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle, you don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments, that's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the number one sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have. Gotta reach them, see it right now. Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we've got all the perks of a national bank, like online banking, quick loan approval, and you can deposit your check from your phone. But that's not why our customers love us. They love us because we still offer hometown customer service. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly team remind you how special hometown banking can be. We're locally owned and will take the time to understand your needs. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The land that is now Israel was Jewish long before these monarchies and military dictatorships that surrounded Israel ever existed. And why should or how could Israel ever agree to its own suicide and the extermination of its own people, which would be not a 2-state solution, but a final solution? I think some people are actually cheering for this. Israel could never agree to that. What these countries are doing, and the quislings and reprobates that run them are doing, emboldening Hamas and the other Islamic terrorists and all terrorists. The message these terrorists are receiving is that their terrorism works. Terrorism in London, Paris, Toronto, all other Western countries who've signed on to this despicable surrender of civilization to these barbarians, the barbarians are going to say, hey, this works. Just keep at it. And the more people you murder and rape and torture, maybe in other capitals of the Western world, the more likely these failing nations, and that's what they are, they're failing, the more likely they will be accommodating you.
Okay, we're back, and yes, I know. I have a big finger here, and it's got McDonald's on it, and I got a story about it. So I'm out there, I think it was last Thursday after the show, did a show on Thursday. It could have been Friday, I don't know, it doesn't matter, but so I got people, I'm directing traffic in drive-thru. That's what I do. And I don't have to do it. I'm the only owner-operator in the world that does that directs drive-thru in their drive-thru deal, and makes things better for customers, I like to think, and I think the customers do too. We do a lot of joking around, and they get to see the owner every time I'm there, which is like 95% of them, and we're a very, very busy store. Very busy store. So I'm out there with my hand and all that stuff, and there's this big group of kids that suddenly looked like they came out of a bus or something. Most of them were girls, good-looking college girls, it seemed to me like. And so all of a sudden they break out in the middle of my parking lot, and they're dancing like crazy in front of all the cars and everything. So I walk over there and say, hey, I'm not permitted to have people dancing on my parking lot. You're going to get me into a lot of trouble. And they looked at me really weird for a moment, and then they figured it out. So the one gal grabs this thing, and then she starts dancing, and everyone else starts dancing. They're all boogieing to this. And I wanted to show you because I had to bring them inside. It was causing such a ruckus. So I had to bring them inside the store. So here it is. As soon as JP can find it, here's what happened. So, he's got to find it again. So keep going. So this is a story that. Okay. There it is, right here. This is what happened.
Yes, please pan away from Dave's stomach.
Yeah, please.
I can only control so much here.
Jeez.
One by one, twist my wrist. Goes like this, start with a track. Eyes on me, watching my back. Just like this, here for the night. Doing burning, just keep watching. Goes like this, on from the back. Eyes on me, ain't like that. Just like this, here for the night. Doing burning, just keep watching.
Now I tell you what, that was really something. I mean, the people in the store loved it. And you know what? I'm going to join a sorority. I'm going to go back to college. Wow, were they cute, weren't they? My wife is sitting there. I think she's drinking vodka. I don't know. It's a little early in the day, but you never know for sure. So that's my little story about them. And I just threw my rubber glove down. And okay, so we're back on the show. We got a couple of minutes, and then we have some guy named Chris Adamo coming on, and after that we've got the guy who's a chicken farmer and he's a state rep, and that would be my friend Don Mayhew, who him and his buddy who are both running against each other. How do you have two guys that are running against each other actually take over your show on July 4th? Okay, is that something?
I was in a very interesting position with that show and the situation. So I'm of course it's the first time they've ever hosted the show, just the two of them. Sure. And so of course we did a little bit of prep work. Then didn't have a whole lot of clips done. They were just going to talk about different issues, take phone calls, and do all that kind of stuff. And so I'm sitting here thinking, what if they just start debating each other right here and now? What if they have a debate off right here on the show?
I was hoping for that.
And I'm just thinking, now I'm going to be the moderator / responsible person.
In fact, I'm going to get a little bit into his face, Mayhew, and say, what the hell is that? Are you patty caking each other? You're running against each other. Why weren't you debating? Why weren't you yelling at him and him yelling at you?
I got a feeling it might get a little more intense as we get closer to the actual election.
There's still time.
Huh?
There's still time.
A little closer, I think it'll get a little more intense.
Well, the funny thing about it is I'm backing one of them and not the other one. So, and they both know it. And there's other people running against them, people that are involved in this show, too, that their parents are involved in the show. One is Joe Steelman. Yeah, I ran into her at the golf course the other day, and I guess he was with her, and he introduced himself to me, and she's been on the show, and so has her husband, David Steelman. So I got a lot of these politicians here. It's pretty darn interesting, and right now, what I'd like to do is Steve Martin. So what? Oh, my wife has something to say. Sorry, honey.
We wanted to invite all of your listening people and fans and friends to come to see John Hukin and Tara Peters present at Merrimack Republican Women's Meeting next Tuesday, August 19th. Both of them are going to come together and talk about things that are going on in Jeff City, and they're happy to address your concerns and issues. They'll be available for Q&A.
It's a little blurred.
So that's at 6:15 next Tuesday at City of Light and Life Ministries, 13915 Old Highway 66. And this will be posted to Dave's show page.
All right.
My page too. So please join us.
Let's hear it.
Please join us.
Let's hear it for my wife, Lisa Ann Weinbaum. Yeah. Yeah.
Check it out.
Is she hot or what?
No charge.
Is she hot or what?
Oh,
all right. And who is that? Oh my God. Is he on? Oh my God. I thought we were on at 10.
Oh, you're not going to get over that one, are you?
Oh my God. Well, I've got Mayhew coming in right now. Oh, yeah, you can do it with Mayhew. What the hell? So I'm sorry. I don't know what the hell happened here. Yes, I'm kidding.
You better be kidding.
Or what? Or what? Here come the threats now. I was waiting for the threats. Yeah. Can't wait for it. All right. This is the man who auto-penned Liz Cheney and Kissinger's pardon. He's an author of a great book, Rules for Defeating Radicals. And he is also a lover of Wyoming and its pizza. Please welcome all the way from Missouri. Still doesn't know where I live. I'm not telling him my address. Chris Adamo. So, Chris, you got your trouble fixed with Facebook? What was the deal?
No, and I don't have that fixed, but I have a workaround. So what happens is you send me a message and I see it once, and then all of a sudden they say, well, you have to log on. You have to put something on your phone, which I haven't put on, or something. I have to give them a PIN or some nonsense like that. So you sent me the link for StreamYard. I grabbed it and I hit it. And then I just reused that link. And I literally, Facebook direct messaging, it's a mess right now. And I don't think it's just me. I've heard other people complain, but
right now they could come and take you off.
Well, they've always been able to do stuff like that, and they've been doing a lot of that. And the only reason they quit doing that is because Trump got elected, because that's when Zuckerberg went crawling to Trump to try and be his best buddy. And we know how that works.
Well, he's been okay. He's been okay with this show lately, I think.
Well, that makes me wonder about you, Dave. Maybe you're a closet liberal, and Zuckerberg's happy.
Maybe. Of course, you've tested me now.
What is that on top of your head?
Well, what do you mean? What is it? What is that on top of my head? I grew some hair. Okay.
Is that your Rosie O'Donnell imitation or what?
Oh no! Oh, it's on now. You know what? I washed this hair this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I washed it this
with
morning.
what, a
No,
carpet cleaner? Or?
I can't do a damn thing
Okay,
with it.
there's the Dave Weinbaum we all know and love. Wait a second. Put that nonsense down. There's the Dave Weinbaum we all know and love.
That's right. That's right. Now I got to get this thing fixed again, there, so I can hear your lovely voice. So let's talk a little bit. Wait a minute. Do I have my thing on? Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Adam Schiff, one of your favorites.
Can I get out in front of this real quick? And
this is sure. Serious. Just take over.
Dead serious. Here, I want to give you.
Let me go to sleep for a while, and you just take over.
Okay.
You just go ahead and talk.
Right. This is a verse from Proverbs. Okay. And because this is the intro that's needed for what you're saying. I'm telling you, yes. Proverbs 18:17. I'm paraphrasing it here. What it says is, the first witness will be believed, but on cross-examination may not prove to be true. Okay, now the Democrats understand this. We don't. They got out in front with the accusations and the lies. They scream them so loudly. Stop yawning. They scream them so loudly, and everybody believes them. And our side is like, wait a minute, but they're lying. Okay, yeah. We've got to get out in front with the truth, because they're going to go out with their accusations and take the lead with it if we don't. So now back to what you're saying about Schiff.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm bringing up, and you needed to interrupt me for that.
I needed to give the biblical foundation.
Bible. Do I sit here and talk about Judaism a lot? Yeah, I do.
Well, I'm talking about Judaism. This is Proverbs. This is out of the Jewish holy scriptures.
This is David, isn't it? Didn't David write?
Solomon, David's son.
Oh, okay.
You need to read your holy scriptures a little more there.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So anyways, yeah, Adam Schiff, Adam Schiff approved classified leaks targeting Trump to the FBI. Now, this is why it's a big deal. This is why it's going to be very hard to get out of, because the FBI leaked it, and they found this stuff in a burn area where they were going to burn this up real quick. I guess they didn't make it before the election. Yeah. So each time they did this, it's a felony.
It's not just a felony.
It's illegal to lie to the FBI. This besides his lies about where his residences are, also a federal crime. I think he's got some really tough problems. And the one thing you can take from this is that he's not a guy to stay silent. He's going to be pushing his fingers at other people's.
Oh, and that's exactly what he's doing this morning. My first talking point I wanted to deal with you about was Adam Schiff, and the fact that Adam Schiff is saying democracy is under attack. And of course, who's the one attacking it? Well, Donald Trump. Just ask him. Okay. And what Schiff is doing, this is the standard leftist Alinsky tactic. You deflect from reality and you get onto your phony moral high ground, and you make these just baseless, insane accusations. But if the other side will bite, then the other side starts defending itself against your accusations.
Yeah.
And the other side at that point, and the other side being us, at that point, we look like the guilty parties trying to defend ourselves, instead of going forward like you're doing, aside from that wig, but like you're doing, taking the battle to the enemy's front and saying, here's what you guys are. Here's why you guys are the criminals. Schiff, what you just mentioned, he lied when he did these things. Now, just if you lie about something in court, and you do it to benefit yourself financially, you're committing perjury for the sake of embezzlement. Okay, but the embezzlement is the bigger crime. Schiff was doing this. He's lying to cover treason, to cover the infiltration and the undermining of a presidential administration through the weaponization of these organizations like the FBI. Okay, this is what Schiff is covering. Well, this makes him complicit in their treasonous actions in the first Trump administration.
Yeah, and the thing about these people now still defending what they were doing.
What else can they do?
It gets rid of the time that expires to where it becomes
your statute of limitations. Yeah, they're still committing the crimes.
Yep. Right, and they're still committing the crime, so they've got plenty of time to take care of this. And they're going to argue that, but I think they're totally wrong.
Well, here again.
Oh my God. Speaking about totally wrong. Wait a minute. Maybe it was. Maybe I did get you mixed up at 10 o'clock because my next guest is suddenly here.
I've got on my phone once again, everybody. Dave said
I
I was supposed to be here at 9:30.
It was 9:30, and
I want to make sure that see what I
10.
say. I leave myself these notes. I want to make sure that
he's running for office. This guy, and I say this guy, he ran the show here with his opponent on July the 4th.
Friend, we're not opponents quite yet. We're friends. Frenemies, maybe.
You're a frenemy with who?
With Brand X.
Brand X is not his name.
Oh, it is.
Why can't you say his name?
It's better not to advertise for the enemy.
First rule, right?
Wait a minute. Now he's gonna try to help you against your friend, your so-called friend. No, I think that's not going to work.
No, Bill and I will remain friends long after the campaign is over.
Okay, well, I'm so heartened to see that. And they ran the show on July the 4th. Do you believe this?
Independence Day.
Yeah.
Independence from
now,
Dave.
You know what? He's sitting there steaming over here because I made a mistake last week. I had him in the wrong slot this morning. I said, "Wait a minute, you're not here. You're at 10." And he got really mad at first. And now that was okay.
Dave is doing his Adam Schiff thing because he's guilty again today of lying. Okay. Huh? Let's get back to the real situation now. What actually happened was he calls me at 9:32 because he had told me to be on at 10.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, where are you?" And I rechecked my message, and no, I was supposed to be on at 10. So I sent him back and I said, "You told me I was supposed to be on at 10. Give me a couple of minutes." I came on, I hit it out of the park, and now he's telling a fib.
Well, Dave, you can go ahead and just ignore me until 10 o'clock.
He hit it out of the park.
Yeah, which is what you usually do, even in my regular slot. So go ahead and ignore me. I'll sit here and keep myself busy.
You can't.
Meanwhile, you guys, we got see my talking points. He's got
all
my notes.
I don't have to interview him because he's got all the stuff he wants to talk about.
Here's what we need to be discussing because here's the attack we're under.
All right, well, go ahead.
All right. So, remember I gave you that proverb, Dave, about the first witness, his testimony is believed. The Democrats, coast to coast, in the last few weeks, have been saying that the DC crime, it's the lowest it's been in 30 years. Okay, your average Democrat minion will say, "Well, what's Trump talking about? He's trying to be an authoritarian taking over DC." Okay, DC crime is the lowest it's been in 30 years, and it's a lie. Okay, the stats versus reality. Whenever you get the actual facts out, get this. Imagine this: the Democrats are lying. DC crime is spiking. The murder rate is out of this world, and this is what happens when you put leftists in charge. The DC police chief. The woman who's now the police chief of DC was actually brought on the force as their DEI enforcer within the police department. So she's the one making sure we have enough of this race, this, we got to have enough gays in there. We got to have enough trannies in there. Okay. And she's going to check all the boxes. And now she's the police chief. And I haven't found it yet because I think they've scrubbed this, but there was a basic term that she absolutely did not even understand. She didn't know it was
change of command.
So
covered it with JJ, and she didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
And in the midst of all this, again, crime is going rampant. The Democrats are looking there with their sweet, sanctimonious faces saying it's the lowest it's been in 30 years.
Yeah, it's a lie. It's a big lie. And we're reinforcing that right now. And somebody ratted on them that they changed. It wasn't somebody in the police came and said they ratted on them and said this is not true.
Yep.
They took they took somebody who murdered somebody, and they said it was an assault.
Yep.
So and that they did it with a bunch of them. So now this is their record on proving that they're guilty, basically.
So you know what's happened to the crime rate? Just for example, in San Francisco, the theft rate. Well, it's gone down to 0.
Yeah.
Because the police have said, if you don't steal over $1,000, we're not going to consider it a theft.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. This is how they do it. Okay, now those store
I believe
owners,
you, Chris.
You believe
I
me?
believe you.
Okay, we'll talk about pizza here in a minute. Those store owners in San Francisco, how many of them voted for this insanity? They oh well, I'm a good liberal too. They'll vote for these Democrats, and then they get hung out to dry when their store gets pillaged by these mobs.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this is what happens. The problem is every step of the way, it's going to be up to our side. It's going to be up to the Dave Weinbaums to get out and speak about this stuff and confront it bluntly enough and say, no, I'm not going to say they didn't get the facts right. I'm going to say they're a bunch of bald-faced liars. This is how Democrats operate. This is how leftists operate. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that.
And that's why I like you. Believe it or not, I do like you.
I believe that. You still haven't given me my free Big Mac, but that's okay.
You still haven't given me my pizzas.
Well, when you get to Cheyenne, I'm telling you, I know the best pizza you'll ever have. Mondello's Pizza in Cheyenne.
Well, have the guy sponsor the show. You want to really do me some good? I mean, I love pizza. I would eat the pizza, but I'd rather have him as a sponsor.
You haven't had the pizza. Once you have the pizza, you'll rather have the pizza.
You have connections to Wyoming.
I have connections.
You have fixed the GOP for the most part, except for the current governor. Is that correct?
I won't say I have fixed it. Let's say I've been part of fixing it. Okay, because
are you listening to this?
I got involved. I got involved with the Wyoming Freedom Caucus. I actually did like a little mini seminar with them. It was great. It was right up in Hewlett, Wyoming. Literally, you remember the Devil's Tower from Close Encounters? You know, with the space aliens and all that. It was literally right there. Okay. And I did a mini seminar.
Are you going to come back?
I'm going to check out the landing zone.
It was right up in that region. I did a seminar with them, explained to them from here, since I don't know if JP still got it handy, from my book, Rules for Defeating Radicals. I explained to the Wyoming Freedom Caucus how the Alinsky strategy is used to manipulate the debate. They took it, they ran with it. I have direct reports that it changed the way they debated and went after the rhinos in Wyoming in the legislature. The state house is now, and again, I didn't do this myself, but I was part of it. The state house is now, the Freedom Caucus has the majority in the state house. They're close to having a majority in the state Senate. And we still got stuck with a rhino governor, Mark Gordon, a former Democrat who moved to Wyoming, changed his party, ran for governor, and the rhino party at the time helped him get in there. That's all changed. He's going out. We're going to get an actual conservative in there, and Wyoming is going to be the first conservative state in the country that governs conservatively.
So Chris Adamo for governor?
I'm gonna throw out another name for you. You're probably going to hear is Chip Nyman. Chip Nyman is the Speaker of the Wyoming State House right now, and he is a strong, unshakable conservative. And so any of my Wyoming friends listening right now, it's Chip for governor.
Chip for governor.
Chip Nyman, just a salt-of-the-earth Wyoming cowboy, rancher, everything you could want.
You know, we know a Chip. We have a pet Chip. He's a turtle with a chip in his back, right, honey?
Okay.
Is that true?
Yes, dear.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we find him every 2 months ago. He's on our property somewhere. And it's not that big of a property, but everywhere else he's like, I don't know how he gets around, but he does.
Well, squirrels are okay now, and moles are a different story. And moles are what we have not only messing up people's yards across the country. We have moles inside the Trump administration. Okay, we still have to deal with that.
Yeah,
but meanwhile,
how about opossums? I went out to take out the garbage last Sunday, and got out there, and I'm coming back, and my dog, I see him with, I thought it was a cat. I mean, it was very visible. It was on the garage front there in cement and stuff like that. You know, it was not hiding in the grass or anything. And suddenly I hear a crunch, and I'm looking at this, and it looks to me like, you know, opossums can fake getting hurt.
Oh yeah.
But this one I heard the crunch of bones, and then she ran off.
Oh.
And I think, what happened was she buried the opossum where?
In my vegetable bed.
Yeah. So we're sending you home with a nice group of vegetables.
No,
Don.
And you can make possum stew. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So let me tell you.
Trust me, there's been worse things in my garden. So
back on topic now. Let me tell you where we're working on the next red wave.
Yes.
And of all places, believe it or not, that's the state of Illinois. I got a friend there. He's been contacting you, and I'm hoping you have him on. Joe Severino.
He hasn't gotten to me yet.
Yep.
He's been calling me, but and I call him back. But then
you'll connect sooner or later. Running for governor of Illinois, I mean, obviously it's a major uphill challenge, but what he's finding is the biggest, tell me where you heard this before, the biggest obstacle he faces is not the Democrats. It's the rhinos. It's the rhinos who already have a place at the Democrat table and want to keep that. And somebody like Joe comes along and says, we're actually going to start governing as conservatives. And, we can't do that. That'll upset the apple cart.
With him? He's Italian, for goodness sakes.
Yep. He's another one I'm going to send some pizza to if he makes it out
pizza to him.
Yeah, out of Cheyenne. Our Cheyenne pizza at Mondello's Pizza in Cheyenne will beat Chicago pizza. I hope you're listening, Joe.
You should send him some coaches from you know where. Hey, no, forget about it. All right. So, okay. So am I doing this interview or are you?
Well, I'm waiting for you to get back on topic. Last time you started doing it, you started talking about possums. So I had to kind of get you back on track.
That's all part of the show. And people like that. They want to be entertained here. They don't just want to hear about, they want to hear some funniness. And they want the people that are interrupting. That's just not good either.
Hence the hat, Chris.
Yes, hence the hat, right?
Yeah,
you know, I get at lunch today. I'll get laughs. Hey, can I have your hat? Hey, why do you have that finger? Can I buy it? So I tell them, I'll sell it to you for about $2,500, and I'll throw in a Happy Meal too, so you'll be happy about it.
Well, speaking of having a few laughs and still making a good point, Donald Trump said this week that Elizabeth Warren,
yes,
Pocahontas there.
Donald Trump God,
said that she needed to be drug tested. Okay,
she's sick, he said,
and I'll just disagree with Trump slightly on this when he says she needs to be drug tested. He's presuming it's a fixable condition. You get her off the drugs and maybe she'll start acting sane. I think it's a lot more hopeless than that.
But he likes Bernie. He says I don't agree with him, but he's understandable at least, and I know where he's coming from. So I don't know why. I guess he to a certain extent admires the fact that the guy's 87 years old and he's still doing this.
Sometimes leftists can be entertaining, and I get that. The problem is that a smile on the face of one of these people belies the fact that they are dangerous, that what they want to do is dangerous.
I agree. Dangerous and deadly. You're very correct on that. So on Facebook, you talk a lot about Israel and what they should do. A poll was released a few days ago, and the Palestinians are fine with their attacks, murders, and hostages taken, and would vote for Hamas power again. So how does Bibi Netanyahu solve this problem? Does he take it over? And who the hell wants these Palestinians anyways?
Well, the bottom line is when you have an enemy that's avowed, devoted to your death and destruction, there is no finding common ground. There is no playing nice. Israel tried really hard for decades to give them money for infrastructure, to give them money to build themselves out of their squalor and everything. And it's honestly, it's a bit like sending money to leftist Democrat districts in America, sending it to their school systems and things, hoping that maybe you can send them enough money to where they'll start doing the right thing. It doesn't work that way.
Can't buy your friend.
No. So the Palestinian is strictly a political invention.
Yep.
And it's not a historic nation, as the rabbi was telling me. There is no P in the alphabet of Arabic. There's no P.
The name came from the Romans.
That's right.
It reflected the Philistines, and the Romans did it just to kind of.
The Italians.
No, these are up. No, I'm Sicilian.
At
this point, I'm not Roman. I'm Sicilian.
What was the headquarters of Rome? It was in Rome.
I'm still Sicilian. You know, the island down there. Whatever. We were not part of this. Okay. No, the real point being that, yeah, it was an invention. I'll tell you what, again, the parallels between the Islamist and the American left are unbelievable. And I explain this, the reasons for that. They have the same end game. They have the same strategy of lies, intimidation, and brutality. And that's because they serve the same master. Okay. The Palestinian situation as it is, the modern Palestinian situation, is such a perfect reflection of how the Democrats employ this victimhood mentality. I'm a minority. I can go ahead and rape and pillage in my neighborhood, turn my neighborhood into a leftist Democrat sewer. And the reason I can is because I'm a victim of something that happened 200 years ago.
Well,
okay?
It's gone to the point in DC and in Chicago where it's really like a mafia operation.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And they're doing this. They're sending and they've been doing this in Chicago for so long. They send out these kids with these guns to do the dirty work, to do the murders, to do the carjacking and things like that. And the big guys make at least most of the money, but they're not taking as much risk.
Who've they let come across the border for the last 4 years?
Yeah, exactly.
And did just more of the same.
Yeah, and I just played a clip earlier where we have Bush, Hillary, and Bill all commenting on we're going to stay tough. We're going to be tough with illegal immigration. They have no business in this country. We're gonna send them back. We've hired a record amount of troops to get them out of here. All of them said that. So what changed?
Let me translate that.
What
do we have to say to the real Americans? What do you have to say to placate them and shut them up so we can keep up our little business as usual? And that includes George W. Bush, Mr. Compassionate conservative himself. How do we pander? How do we say enough of the right things while we continue to let the monster do its work?
Yeah, but that was back in the 90s mainly.
Well, with Bush, it was the early 2000s. Yeah, but he and John McCain pushed really hard. I believe the year was 2007. I'm pretty sure, where they pushed really hard. McCain, that's when he had his Gang of Eight. You remember the Gang of Eight? They were the Gang of Eight traitors that were going to push for amnesty for the illegal aliens that were in the country at that time. Now, they were claiming back then it was 13 million. It was way higher than that back then. And it's higher still because the same globalist leftist machine that you described, you referred to it as being like the mafia. It empowers itself with Democrat votes. If those illegal aliens coming in suddenly started showing up statistically voting Republican, the left would put up the border wall faster than anything you can imagine.
Oh, there'd be a civil war immediately.
But it's all about getting fake Democrat votes. Yeah. Same thing with their gerrymandering that they're screaming about. They're screaming about Texas. You look what Newsom has done in California, and you look at you remember the term ballot harvesting? Yeah. Ballot harvesting it should be absolutely illegal. Ballot harvesting is I take a box of ballots, I go into a nursing home, I get these elderly people who are not sure what room they're in, and I tell them which boxes to check off, and I sign their names onto it, and then I go back out with a box full of ballots for the Democrat. That's what ballot harvesting is, and that's what they do in California.
Yeah.
To your point, Chris, remember here a couple of years ago when the Biden administration was underreported, but only a few networks picked it up, where they were rounding up Cubans and sending them back to Cuba because they were illegal aliens. Well, the Cubans are the only one that qualify as being displaced, and so he was rounding those up as an example of how he was deporting illegal aliens.
And I can guess, I don't know this, but I can guess if you looked into it. Typically, I know in Florida, the Cubans who escaped from under Castro are as hardcore conservative as you can imagine, because they have seen past all the leftist platitudes about the utopianism of socialism and the bliss and everything. They've seen the ugly reality of Marxism, and they come up here to America. They get out of that. They want nothing to do with it, which makes it easy for somebody like Biden to say, yeah, round them up.
Yeah, and a good friend of mine is Cuban. Actually, his mom threw him in a boat when he was 11 years old, and came across the strait because he couldn't make it there. But they don't even take welfare. The Cubans in Florida don't take welfare.
I'm not surprised about this.
They're very conservative.
Yep.
Freedom has an enemy, and that would be just about everyone in the mainstream media. Would you agree?
I absolutely, I would agree. The number one goal, the number one effort of any new dictator once he gets in power, his first measure, that the very first thing that he goes after, I'm trying to think of the right word here, he has got to suppress and control the flow of information, because any dictator is going to have to maintain power through lies and intimidation. He cannot withstand truth coming back on what he does. Okay, so yeah, mainstream media, they're part of the machine. Why are they part of the machine? The worst enemy of the American left, of the Democrats and the rhinos, don't forget the rhinos, the worst enemy of these people is truth itself.
Yeah, truth itself. And the way Trump conducts himself is he is always surrounded by the press, which is amazing. And because, look at our presidents before Biden even, and you hardly ever saw them standing up and giving interviews. He does it every day.
Yeah, and Biden, they didn't dare let Biden get in a room full of actual press asking actual questions.
Jill, his wife, used to run the damn meetings. Other than Dave Weinbaum, where Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people buy your book, Rules for Defeating Radicals, and also read the stuff you write in columns?
Well, at the moment, I have been writing a column. That may change here pretty quickly, but right now, I'm not actually writing a column. But yeah, my book is still available at Amazon. The subtitle is Countering the Alinsky Strategy in Politics and Culture, and we need to fight the battle on both fronts. And it's still needed as a field manual for our side. And if we can get this into the hands of the Missouri Freedom Caucus, I'd appreciate any help possible.
Why is a pizza
here comes...
Here, see now,
Lisa. Lisa, do you have a possum or something you can give him to distract him?
You see what I get?
I threw it away.
You see
threw
what
the possum away.
I threw it away.
Are you ready to shut up and let me do this?
No, I'm trying everything I can to deflect, because this is painful.
This is going to get more painful.
Fixing to get worse.
Yeah.
Why is
inevitable
a pizza like Chris Adamo?
Because everybody loves it.
No, because it's always too cheesy.
That's the pot calling the kettle black there. That the guy with the wig on is telling me I'm cheesy. Now think about that, people.
He doth protest too much.
I think we have a Democrat in the room here, people.
Hey, Chris.
All right.
Chris, that was not the entertainment part of the show, by the way.
Yeah, you're laughing too. Yeah. And look at his imitation of me. Look at this. Look at this. Look at his hair. You got a camera in this guy, or we're gonna block out the lights.
Hey, you know what I see? I see three brilliant minds in the same room. That's what I see.
How about that? Well, what about my wife?
Four, including Lisa, but she has the better hairdo. So
I'm not even including JP over there. He's gonna get mad. Look at him. What about me?
So
lean in, JP.
All right, we didn't need to do it.
I did something different this time. I normally I get a haircut for this show, but this time I decided to get them both cut.
Oh God!
That is the entertainment.
That's the funny part.
That was you. Bet you, Dave is a bad influence on you there.
I was thinking this is going to be one of those balls joke. Okay, right. that wasn't
with a D. That, ladies and gentlemen, that was
bald,
with a D.
Oh, stop! All right, I'm going to do some commercials. Chris, thank you so much for being on the show.
Keep up the good work, folks. God bless.
Have your lovely bride, and thank you. And sorry, you were interrupted. What can I do? I'm a sucker. It's just terrible. Anyways, but Don will be on next. We're going to do some commercials right now. Please buy where the people are supporting this show.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Never be too coy to tell your friends and family about koi sushi and hibachi. Celebrate the best Chinese-Japanese restaurant in the Midwest. Call 573-426-5551 to make a reservation or order takeout. Locally owned, 1808 North Bishop, Rolla, Missouri.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word? But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassle. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day. A-Car Real Estate, where experience matters. 532 million sold since 2003, the #1 sales volume in Phelps County. As a client for decades, I can say they are the best in mid-Missouri. Call 573-368-7355. That's 573-368-7355 for the best real estate experience you'll ever have.
Gotta reach 'em, see it right now.
Insurance going up like crazy? Daniel and Henry Insurance is one of the largest private insurance companies in the world. Richard Boyette, 314-444-5011. He's my guy at Daniel and Henry for 10 years. Business or personal, call Richard at 314-444-5011. He's the best.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Well, you know, when you have a lot of hair, it's like you have to adjust when suddenly you become bald. I just gave myself a haircut, if you noticed, and now I'm bald, and I have to move my ears.
And in Dave's case, singular is actually exactly what it is.
Well, I shave myself. See, you look like an old man. I'm sorry, but that's not a good look, because
a razor that lasts forever.
Why do you need to have that fringe of hair behind your baldness? Because it just doesn't work for me.
I'm not trying to hide my age, like some people who shave their head. I'm proud of my
I
gray
am
hair.
old. I'm an old guy. I'm older than you. How old are you?
I'm 29.
For 92.
For the 36th time.
29 can also mean 92.
Don't step on my joke. I'm 29 for the 36th time. So
it's just so funny.
I have to bring my humor to your level.
Oh my God. Okay? Oh God, am I that bad? Don't answer that.
Hey, I want to revert just for a moment back to the last segment with Chris, but Chris said something that reminded me is when he was talking about the smiling faces thing. It reminded me of the Undisputed Truth back in the 70s with the song Smiling Faces. And I just want to read the first lyric real quick. Is that smiling faces sometimes pretend to be your friend. Smiling faces show no traces of the evil that lurks within. Is that not what we're seeing in our urban areas right now? I mean, these people have been told that their politicians
but it's always
are there
been
to help
there.
them, and
it's always been there, and nobody's called them on it until who?
Yeah.
Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
Not even Reagan really went that far.
No.
Okay.
No.
He just sort of went along with the program, but he was good on other things, international stuff, except for the one thing that Reagan, I never understood it. Why he went along with 241 U.S. soldiers killed in Lebanon. Okay. I don't know why he didn't retaliate. And quite frankly, that was one of the biggest shots in the arm for terrorism coming out of these countries, these Arabic countries, ever. And why he did not? How do you not do something about that?
Well, your youth and exuberance doesn't have the benefit of historical hindsight like me, but you got to take into account there was several different. There wasn't anyone to bomb. And back in those days, it wasn't like you had an Iran or one of those that you could directly attribute to state sponsor of terrorism. And so the choice was, and also don't have the technology we got today. You know, for instance, Israel, between us and them and the technology we have, we can be very precise and very pinpoint. But back then it was you carpet bombed. And and the other problem is that Reagan had some folks who were pretty smart on the old quote from Colin Powell: "If you break it, you got to fix it." And so the point is that the folks could recognize that getting involved in a Middle East war is exactly what they wanted us to do. And George Bush took the bait. And so getting caught in a quagmire.
You're talking about Iraq now.
Yeah. Because the truth of it is, it has nothing to do with Middle East peace or the domino theory or anything. It's exactly what Eisenhower warned us against, the military-industrial complex. And what better situation to get involved in than the Middle East, which is a never-ending war. And so Reagan was smart enough, and certainly he did a good job of hiring people that said, okay, we got two choices here. We can get stuck and end up with a lot more than 241 Marines killed. We can't really effectively go after them because we just really don't have the technology. We're going to kill a bunch of civilians.
241 United States soldiers by surprise. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure they could have found the people that were responsible and bombed them into hell.
Well,
and then what? Pull out. See what they're going to call their bluff.
So what Reagan did do, and another underreported story, is pay the guys who are professionals at finding people over a long period of time, the Mossad. And the Mossad.
So they hired Israelis to do the dirty work.
And SEAL Team 6 also was involved in some of that too. That's some of these classified things that come out years later, from folks telling stories and things like that. I don't know that we killed 241 of them, but we sure made them remember what happened there in Lebanon about which ended the civil war in Lebanon. With all the things that the Israelis did, moving the tanks in and all those kind of things.
Are you talking about when the Muslims took over?
Well, you'll remember there were three different factions that had taken over Lebanon. And there was the Christian Druids, I think they were. And then there was the Hezbollah. And then there was another faction in there. We'll just call them the normal government. But if you can apply that to any Middle East country. But what was happening was it didn't matter if you made a deal with one, the other faction would screw it up. And that's the reason why the Lebanon Civil War was stretched out as long as it was. Well, it was given Hezbollah a safe haven to operate along the border of Israel. And that's, if you'll recall, that's when Israel said, we're done with this and went in. But that was the only thing that brought those three groups to the table, was Israel moving in, because then it was like, wait a minute here.
So what did they end up with? They ended up with another official Muslim country with Hezbollah right next to Israel, who participated on day one in the attack on October the 7th, 2023.
But you'll recall from the 80s, there was a period of time in there where Lebanon had a stable government and a stable economy.
Well, before that, they were the go-to place to party in the Middle East.
No, absolutely. And then what happened was Hezbollah then moved in. A bunch of folks that was Hezbollah moved into the southern part of Lebanon from Syria and other places because Syria was booting them out, right?
Yeah.
And Jordan was booting them out. Well, they were running to Lebanon, and Lebanon didn't have the resources to be able to combat them. If we made a mistake in foreign policy, it was then. And that was the point at which we could have potentially interjected and helped Lebanon out with the situation they were in. So then their elected officials were replaced by Hezbollah leaders, and so then we see the what happened to Lebanon after that. So it's almost turned into back to what it was during the Civil War, except that Hezbollah runs the place now, and which is Israel's exact point with Hamas and Hezbollah both is that it doesn't do us any good. We can do all the humanitarian stuff we want, but if it never gets to the people, then what? Well, we're just throwing good money after bad.
Well, then you got to kill the ones that are committing war against you.
Precisely.
And you got to kill every single one of them until the war is over.
Yeah.
Until they surrender.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, or until they're gone.
Or until they're gone. Yeah.
Well,
now, some people think, the rabbi thinks, that they could get rid of the Palestinians voluntarily. But I'm not sure I agree with that. We're talking about Israel now, and the 10-7-23 war. And I'm not sure somebody would want them I'm not sure anybody would want the Palestinians. And I think it might be a difficult point because I'm pretty sure I saw a poll the other day that said that they were happy with what Hamas did. The people in Palestine, or wherever you want to call it, Gaza, they backed exactly what they did, and they still back it and would still at this day reelect them.
Well, so that's a bit deceptive, but I think I can use
Why is it? Why do you think it's deceptive?
Okay, so if you're under threat from something and you can't do anything about it, we'll call it the Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
But the reality is I can actually use Missouri as a good example. I don't care what poll you look at, right? Trump won Missouri by way over 60% of the vote, right? It's pretty much guaranteed
because of this show.
Well, mostly, absolutely. But it's
just thought I'd throw that in there.
But that's because he always selects the right guest for the show. But
there you go.
So, but
take your credit. Go ahead.
But the reality is
show them the head. Show them the head. Show them the brain.
Yeah. So, but the reality is that people can be influenced, by propaganda, right? And so you got two dynamics working there. And so just like here, with Medicaid expansion and legalization of marijuana and things like that, they all sound good. And if there's a lot of money supporting those things, the tendency is for people to watch the television commercial or look at the Facebook post or whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't do a deep dive on it or a lot of research. And so we end up with things like those. Now, I don't care where you are on those two subjects. Neither one of those things were good for Missouri in their form that they're in. And it added another 40 pages to this book right here, which is our Missouri Constitution. And so there's that dynamic that happens there. They're a captive audience. So they don't dare say anything to anyone.
Who's they again?
I'm
just
talking,
the average person.
I'm talking to rank and file.
Yeah, rank and file.
Let's face it.
That's what we hear. That's what you're doing, and that's what I'm doing here.
Mm-hmm.
I could play golf. But I like this stuff, and I'm very.
Well, they don't have a Dave
Weinbaum.
I'm very
paranoid about what could happen to this country, to Israel, to me, to my family. I'm very paranoid about it, and I think people ought to be awakened, if that's possible, to at least pay attention to the thing and vote.
Well, we saw it. We saw it absolutely. Remember COVID, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We had people in power advocating for concentration camps.
Yes,
for people, taking away your constitutional rights, all under the guise of it's for your own good.
And they actually did that.
And look how many despots in history used that exact sentence.
And they're actually still doing it.
And so you take the poor folks in Hamas that are under Hamas's jurisdiction and Hezbollah. Well, they certainly are religiously compatible, and no doubt about that, right? They're all Muslims. Yeah. But the only people they're hearing from is from their leaders. But more importantly is, have you ever read the book 1984?
Yes.
Well, you didn't dare say one thing bad about the government, even to your neighbor, because your neighbor was incentivized into turning you in, right? And so that's the dynamic you got there. I'm shocked that they had 87% instead of a 99%. Right?
They got a guy who's in jail right now. I was on the news like at 5 o'clock this morning.
Mm-hmm.
He's being tried in China. And they had his son on. He says, he's never going to get out of this until something happens to the government. Right. I don't know whether it was Hong Kong or in China actually, but this guy's done because he knows that it's going to be a quick trial and it's going to be over and he's going to be guilty, even though he wasn't. And that was on today, and they're talking about that. The fact that this government, if they decide they want you out, they'll have you out. This country is not that different, but it's changing now, and it's changing by somebody who understands business, who understands how far to go and how not far to go, and wants to change, and got the people on his side now. The majority of the people, not everybody, but the majority of people understand what he's doing and agree with him, and it's cross-racial, it's cross-religion, it crosses a lot of things. So Trump is doing something here that is hopefully replicated in the future by his predecessors.
Well, absolutely. There hasn't been a focus on this, but one of the things that I did want to bring up is that, and you talk about an eye opener for me. Was I was invited back in June to State Leadership Summit sponsored by an organization called CAM, and that's Combating Anti-Semitism Movement. And so they presented us with a lot of information that kind of it goes toward what we've been talking about as far as propaganda is concerned on the other side. So if you listen to the mainstream press, you would say whatever tiny amount of anti-Semitism there is in this country is the far right, it's the neo-Nazis and what have you. Well, the research doesn't bear that out.
Right.
Of what the FBI calls anti-Semitism, either in print or acts, where someone has actually attacked someone, has experienced a 400%. Now, the telling statistic there was, and I wish I would have had, I couldn't find that graphic, but I need to track it down and so I can pass it on to you. But actually, the far right anti-Semitism stuff has dropped 2.5% over the last couple of years. But you know what category has gone up dramatically?
Anti-Christian.
The left wing attacks on Jews is 37% of all anti-Semitism in this country, and guess what? Those folks who identify as Muslims is only 38%.
Yeah,
and so the left and the Muslims have combined to make almost 78% of all of the attacks on Jews in this country, not worldwide.
And then take a look at the Ivy League universities. Take a look at take a look at Harvard. They're about ready to settle for, I think it's 500 million. You're right. 500 million or billion?
Right.
Million?
It's a rounding error on how much money they get.
Yeah, I don't know. They're gonna the government's going to get a pretty good settlement, and it's run. Harvard is run by a Jew. Okay, a Jew was fighting for anti-Semitism, not against it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a problem.
It's something I can't understand.
And it's something that's gone on in the Ivy Leagues since the 30s.
But we are seeing a change in that, a small change.
We're seeing a forced change in it.
And as you take New York City right now, they're getting ready to, probably will,
elect
a Muslim communist. And, to talk about somebody who is antithetical to, the entire Jewish community in New York City. But you'll find that there will be a significant number of those folks who will vote for this guy. And
you know who's coming up big and strong? Curtis Sliwa. Now, does that ring a bell at all?
Yeah,
he's running for mayor.
Guardian Angels.
Angels. Yeah. And suddenly he's being discovered over Cuomo, over Adams.
So you got your choice between the commie and the crook, right?
Yeah.
So Curtis is the only one who has any sanity in this race, right?
Well, I think Adams has made a good move to the right. He's now more.
It's temporary. Come on.
It could be. I don't know. It could be. But Curtis has always been the same.
Oh yeah,
and he says he's. I saw an interview about him yesterday with him, and he's raised more money now in the last segment than any of these guys, including Madani or whatever his name is.
Well, I mean, folks are looking at the situation there in New York, and if you're a business owner in New York City, you can't put up with either one of your other choices, right? Because they're the ones who have advocated for this smash and grab folks and the quote unquote, justice reform and defunding cops. All three of them were in on all that over the last few years. So who are you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes, right?
Here, Sliway is he's the outsider.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and it's a big advantage now.
And he's the one. Huge. He's the one guy who's been steady all along,
and he's now breaking through because they're getting desperate.
Well, remember back in the 70s, the only thing that made the subway in New York tolerable to ride, safe to ride, was the Guardian Angels. Right. And everyone who lived back in that period said if it wasn't for the Guardian Angels being on the trains, we wouldn't ride them.
And you also had a pretty good mayor in Giuliani.
Which came a little bit later.
Yeah.
You remember how bad it was? Well, I don't know. You're too young to probably remember, but how many movies were made about crime on the subways in New York City? I mean, through the 70s, just about every movie about big city included crime, crime component on subways in New York City. Well, and that's when Curtis and the Guardian Angels came in and took it on themselves. Now they were called vigilantes and all of those other things. But keep in mind, they did this unarmed, right?
Yes.
They there to be, a help or an advocate for the people riding the subway. And the people riding the subway really appreciated that. I had relatives that lived in New York City at the time, and they.
Well, I have a little story. I'm going to try to make this, but I was in New York 30 years ago or so, and my family was there too, but I wanted to go see something. I think it's something like the Italian neighborhood. So I got on a train, and there was a gal there, and I could see this guy take her purse and walk out. And I said something to her. I said, did you see what just happened to you? And she says, no. I said, where's your purse? She says, oh my God. And the guy walked out. Now, I was still on the train, and I think the same guy came back. And I said something to him. I says, I know what you did. And I could see him reaching for something. Okay. This was a mistake on my part. And he finally got off. And but I could have gotten myself killed that day. That's for sure.
No, but also a lot of times all it takes is challenging them, right?
Yeah. Oh, and, sure.
Because they love easy targets.
They're wimps. They're wimps for the most part, but it's a gun is a gun.
98% of crooks prefer unarmed victims,
except for the really mentally ill ones.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Well, there's 2%. There's plenty of
that's why they. That's why they won't let you have a gun. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's. I've lost all my guns anyway because I always take them fishing with me, and the boat always turns over, and so so every time I buy a gun, it ends up in the river for some reason. You'd think I'd learn my lesson after 224 times, right? Yeah.
All right, very soon we're going to have a man show up. It's going to be Jeff Zink, so that's going to be interesting.
Okay, yeah, so
because he's got a whole new gig now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what's that?
He owns.
Oh, that's right.
A pharmacy buying. Company, and it's like it's a big deal.
So he's a PBM now.
PBM. What would that be?
Good. No, that's actually what we do need. That if you look at our state budget, about almost 40% of our state budget is Medicaid alone, that one program, and that should scare everybody except our state legislature for some reason. But the reality is that the largest component of that is the pharmacy, and our pharmacy that we pay out is out of control.
Yeah,
it is nuts what we pay, and unnecessarily so.
Right,
and part of it is because of these PBMs and others out there.
So you're going to be great for him, but I want to do something first because I never got a chance to interview you. You're so damn early, and push yourself on poor Chris Adamo. This man is an engineer. He's a chicken farmer, still trying to market rooster eggs. State representative running for senator, Don Mayhew.
Yeah,
give him a little applause. That's enough.
So you put that chicken moniker on me all the time.
Who brought this up?
That's a wholly owned subsidiary of mine.
Your wife. Yeah. Who brought this up?
Well, I illustrated. I was trying to help folks understand the challenges that it's involved in creating a home-based business, usually in the farming area, and all the challenges that I faced in that process, and especially when none of the decisions were mine necessarily.
So you don't know anything about the chickens, right?
I know enough to stay out of the chicken business. Unfortunately, I have partners in the firm that they make their own decisions with their subsidiary.
Honey, you want to get into the chicken business?
We used to have chickens.
Yeah?
Could not keep them alive. Every critter on the face of earth.
Really? Are they tough? Are they tough to keep alive?
Not really. I mean, certainly we have our challenges with predators, but she spends so much time with them that they already think.
Well, she's got you for a husband. No, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you would think that would be enough of a reason right there to.
Hey, guess who shows up? Look at who shows up. Now that we've handled your situation.
Yeah.
And by the way, have you yet figured out a way to sell rooster eggs?
Well, so you urbanites probably don't have the base of knowledge that I have in the farm area.
I don't think anybody
and so
has that.
It's you sound like one of my fellow legislators on the other side of the aisle who, when we were considering a bill about allowing you to have chickens in your backyard in an urban area, and so one of the person who sponsored the bill says, well, yeah, it's so we can have our own eggs, and she was adamant that there was no way that you could have eggs without a rooster. Oh. And because the complaint was, well, you have these roosters crowing all the time. And he said, no, we won't have a rooster. And she said, well, you can't have eggs without a rooster. So I'm not saying that you're totally in that category, but it sounds like when you talk about rooster eggs that you might not have a high familiarity with how the system works.
Can I stop you for just a minute and introduce my next guest? Okay. My God.
Go ahead.
I can't believe you put my audience through that. That's just terrible.
It sounds like there's a whole lot of clucking going around.
A lot of what?
Clucking.
Clucking. I was shocked there for a moment. I'll tell you what.
Jeff
clucking, huh?
Jeff,
okay,
Jeff,
all righty. Now that's a way to start an interview. Yes, and I didn't hear the first part except for the clucking.
Yeah, he knows it's a family show.
What does that rhyme with? I don't know. Anyways,
no, Jeff knows it's a family show.
Yeah, right. Soon to be not, apparently. Kinesiologist. That's a very important word that I use now. I used to use it all the time, but he's actually turned from being a politician back to his medical field, and now he's a pharmacy store mogul. Please welcome, all the way from Arizona, Jeff Zink. Now you're here with Don Mayhew. I think you know him. Do you know?
Yeah. Don and I've met.
It seems like everybody that's a guest on this show knows the other guests. Mm-hmm. It's like a fraternity. In your case, a sorority. Yeah. But it's pretty interesting to see this.
Yeah, Dave, you either have a large circle or a very small one. I haven't figured what.
Neither have I, quite frankly. I mean, it's incredible. It's just incredible. It amazes me what's going on, good and bad sometimes. First of all, how is Ryan doing?
Doing well. He is working there in Texas and in the oil field, and both the girls are doing well, so he's moving along.
Excellent. All right. Anything new on his case?
Nope. Just finalizing everything and trying to get whatever their last minute stuff. The reason why they're still going through all of the discovery that was not allowed in his first trial. So these are all Brady violations, and they're in the thousands, and they're having to create an exhibit for each one of the pictures that was done that was actually withheld from him. And there's several thousand pictures, and each one of them has to become an exhibit and the whole bit to build the case of what Boasberg and the prosecutors and stuff. And we're waiting because we also got wind that Michael D. Brown, the federal agent that went into the grand jury and lied to start the whole fiasco, has now been put on notice, and there's a chance that he's going to get fired. And if he gets fired, he doesn't have the protection. And so we're going to be able to subpoena him, and he can't fall behind taking the fifth.
Not a lot of people, including my other guest here, might not know who Michael Brown is. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, Michael Brown is the federal agent that went in on 2 days after, on January the 8th, after J6, and to a grand jury and stated that my son entered into the Capitol, fought with Capitol Police, and was directly responsible for killing Brian Sicknick. None of it was true. All of it came out in the trial. And it should have dismissed the case with prejudice, but the judge, Boasberg, being so corrupt, didn't toss it and continued on. And now he's in hot water. He's actually got several cases now that the DOJ is looking at where he had judicial misconduct.
Are you talking about? So you're talking about the judge, Boasberg, huh?
Correct.
Wow.
Well, it's a strict violation of his civil rights. I mean, suing them is not even enough. But the FBI agent, the Brown, he should go to jail for perjury. He should get the maximum sentence because of what that ended up doing to several people's lives.
And what about the guy that killed the woman?
Michael Byrd.
Yeah.
He was acquitted and found not guilty by his peers in Washington, D.C., and that the Capitol Police basically exonerated him and stated that it was a justified shooting.
So is that the end of it?
Oh, no, not at all. In fact, what ended up happening is that Ashley Babbitt's husband won a lawsuit against the Capitol Police and everything, and settled out of court in an undisclosed amount of money. But the thing is that they did win in a civil trial.
Is another person from this show, Mark McCluskey? He's still with your son?
Still, working away, and
like the last 4 times. I even got a tour of his house. Believe it or not, when I was in St. Louis when he was running the show.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he ran my show. Did you know that?
I didn't.
He and I, can I mention his name even?
Yes, absolutely. Bill and I tag teamed on the.
See, he shoved himself in there so I wouldn't mention his last name. It's Bill Hardwick.
Well, that's because he's a close personal friend.
Hardwick. Can you say the name Hardwick? Yeah, I said Mayhew.
Right.
And why couldn't you say Bill Hardwick?
My close personal friend, Bill Hardwick.
That's it. Okay. I'm okay with you now.
Is that okay?
So, Dave,
yes.
One of the things that I want all your listeners and everybody to know about, because it is not getting any traction whatsoever. Yeah. Nobody is actually looking at this. But Tulsi Gabbard just released a very interesting information, and the LaRouche people actually picked it up. And there's a very good article that explains everything behind Russiagate. And you would think that Russia and China is our enemy. What turns out to actually be the enemy that we need to be weary of, and have undermined our federal government and the global world is Britain. A lot of people don't know this, but Britain actually is should be classified as
really
a country that we are at war with. And this article, which the name of the article that people need to go to and read is "Worse Than Treason: The Actual Motive Behind Russiagate." And it starts all the way back with Winston Churchill in World War II, and then it moves forward, and it shows how a foreign student, exchange student from Kenya becomes the president of the United States, and how all of this was orchestrated. And it goes into very detail as to what's taking place and what's happening.
Who could that be? Barack Hussein Obama?
That would be the one.
Okay. How come you didn't name him? He's trying to get me in trouble now. I know.
No, I'm just actually wanting people to sit down, but it goes into what Hillary and Bill Clinton did as well. And these are things that are problems, because you would think that Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, Venezuela, Cuba, that would be the people that we would need to be weary of, and that the United Kingdom of Britain and North Ireland would be our friends. Well, it's really not, and it goes into really good detail, and it's something that people need to sit down and actually go through and read, because it shows exactly what's happened from World War II all the way to today. And Tulsi Gabbard has done a great job in releasing information and knitting this all together.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago she released the smoking gun, which Comey immediate, obviously he's being considered for an indictment, but they're doing investigations because he knows it's coming. So he's lawyered up now. But the reality is that the stuff she released with the emails and that stuff is the smoking gun for this thing. And it proves that he had foreknowledge of it. He can't say, well, that was some rogue agents or anything like that. He knew this personally.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Well, and it even goes into detail about, in 2016, that President Obama literally orchestrated from the Oval Office the potential assassination and overthrow of Donald J. Trump, going all the way back to 2016, and brought out the Steele dossier and all of this stuff, which was British intelligence, that they showed the MI6 director, Richard Dearlove, former Prime Minister Tony Blair, and others were involved in all of this. And all this information is coming out now of this coup that has happened. And the House of Parliament is a part of it. And we're sitting here looking at this, and we, talk about putting the fox in the hen house. Let's go back to the rooster eggs deal. This is exactly what's taking place. By the way, foxes will take care of those rooster hens eggs.
So yes, we often forget that Christopher Steele's former MI6 agent. So and so it was like, okay, well, how did he get involved with the Russiagate thing? Well, I think what you've done there, Jeff, is made that connection.
Now, the three-letter agencies were all in line saying there's no conspiracy between Trump and Russia. All right, and it was only on December the 18th, after the election, that Barack Obama took this upon himself to say there's something about this Russia Trump coordination to win that election. All right, that's when that really started.
Well, it goes all the way back to Lisa Page and Peter Strzok.
Right. There was denial of it from the Intel three-letter people
Well, yeah, because you had James Comey, you had James Clapper, and John Brennan. You had your what is it? The FBI director, James Comey, the director of national intelligence was James Clapper, and then the CIA director was John Brennan. All three of them were in the White House working with Hillary Clinton in regards to, and they literally had the smoking gun of the email, which come from Brennan, which said, suppress all evidence and everything about Hillary and all of the.
They didn't bring it out in the open until after the election. They thought Hillary was going to win,
correct,
and then they brought it out to stifle Trump and eventually to get him to quit. The problem is they thought they'd never see him again. They thought they could impeach him a couple times and he'd go home and still make his $1 trillion, whatever he's going to be worth, and he'd leave it alone like everyone else of a sort of normal concept of surviving would have done.
Wow, and that's also
very, very shocked, I believe, at the end of this. And they're still defending it. They don't know what to do, I don't think.
Well, and the problem is that they have all of these emails that have been FOIA'd, and Tulsi's actually doing a great job. She's literally letting this stuff out so people can read for themselves. And the thing is that we understand now that narrative of what they were doing because they were in cahoots together. And the Russia story, one of the things that was really interesting is that, again, what you just said, they were not expecting Trump to win. They thought that Hillary had it in the bag. Right. And then when he won, all of a sudden they sat down. But what did Barack Obama, before Trump got in, what did he do? He went and helped subvert and had the CIA and everybody else go over to a country, and I think about it because they put an actor in as the president, who then come back and acted like a child to President Trump when he got elected the second time. We all know who the president of Ukraine is. But that was all orchestrated because they needed to overthrow the government of Ukraine, and they actually did that right before Trump took office.
Yeah, it kind of wrecked a lot of their plans, didn't it?
Well, that's interesting thing that I just saw the other day was that Russia has had 750,000 casualties in Ukraine, and Ukraine has had almost 400,000 casualties. And
for what?
Exactly, for what? And so once again, military-industrial complex, right?
Well, there you've got it, and it goes way back into our history. Yeah. And Trump isn't having it. He's saying, okay, I will use whatever force I need to use, but I'm not going to send our troops out there to be murdered for the benefit of these companies that are all they want is the money.
Well, Trump cares more about Russian soldiers than Putin does.
Of course, yeah, that's pretty obvious, and that's the case of saying about Reagan not having the same concern about our troops back in 1982 when they were attacked. You see,
right.
Are you getting mad or what?
Oh, I have another appointment. And gentlemen, I hate to leave good. I hate to leave good company.
So sorry you're leaving, not
Jeff. Hey, it was good seeing you again, my
friend.
It's
nice seeing you too.
Now we can get to work. All right. That's all here for Don Mayhew. That's enough. Jeez. Don't get him going. Yes, I would normally stand up at this point, but I don't see the purpose in it because I got like 10 minutes left with Jeff, and that's it. All right. So, you want to talk about your health companies now?
Sure. We can talk about that. In a nutshell, basically, I'm the CEO of Positive Energy here, and you can go to positiveenergyaz.com. And what you do is you'll take a look at it. But basically, what I'm doing is that I'm trying to raise money in order to buy hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies so that we can stop this perpetual failing of all three of these industries. The thing is that we have 600 hospitals right now that are failing across the United States. We have about 1,200 clinics that are failing across the United States and about 1,400 pharmacies and stuff. Missouri's really hit hard because they had 73 pharmacies that have uprooted and left. And Josh Hawley even made the statement when he had the PBM managers for the pharmaceutical companies. He said, how does you making $68 billion last year alone help my constituents when we have pharmacies that no longer exist in my state? I've got 2 counties that don't even have a pharmacy in there. My constituents have to drive an hour just to get their pharmaceutical drugs. How is that beneficial to my people? And he just raked them over the coals in regards to, what they're doing. And the thing is that we have a national security issue. The national security problem is that if President Trump, pisses off the president of China and they withhold medication, then it could create a lot of problems for the people here in the United States because they provide a big chunk.
They have us by the you-know-what.
Exactly. Thornton Curley's.
They're now worried about China going to the moon and staking it out, putting their flag on the moon. Then what?
Yeah.
Okay. No, seriously, because they can do things on the moon to send hell back to the United States of America. Or anywhere else they want to.
Well, and the thing is that people can sit down, and what we've done is we've actually lowered the price. I mean, when they first started throwing it around, I was thinking $30 a share, but right now it's we've got 100 million shares. It's $1 a share. Gives us $100 million if everybody comes in and buys up shares. And then what we can do is go in and buy these hospitals. Well, what are we going to do, and what are we finding? Well, we have already started finding that we have administration that are top heavy. When your CFO, your COO, and your CEO are all making $1 million, and this hospital only brings in $5 million profit. Well, $3 million of it goes to the 3 people in charge, and then the rest of it is displayed down below to everybody else that's working and stuff. There's a lot of things, and then you have the good old boy system of overbilling supplies and then money being under the table. I mean, there's 1,000 different ways why a company is going under, and so we've got to go in and we got to clean it up. We got to take care of what's going on, and then make sure that we're not doing what happened to Gracie in Wisconsin, a 19-year-old Down syndrome child that was brought to a hospital by her parents. They signed the papers to admit her, and buried in the fine print, it said that the administration and the doctors have fit to do whatever they want. And so somebody put in a DNR, and then somebody gave her a COVID-19 injection. She had allergic reaction, went into cardiac arrest, and had a DNR, and so she passes away. The reason why the parents lost in court by a jury trial was because of that fine print. So we've got to go in and we've got to start redoing our hospitals and making it safe, where when you go in, Dave, that I don't get to give you something that you don't want. You don't lose your rights just because you went into a hospital.
Yeah. So which health companies will benefit from what you're doing?
Well, I mean, the thing is that any hospital that's failing, we're looking at trying to purchase those. The companies that are going to be feeding into it. So we have employers, they have employees. Well, one of the things we also looked at is the insurance. And so 3 years ago, we went to BUCA, which is Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Cigna, and Aetna, and sat down and said, hey, we would like to have this type of insurance policy. And they all got up and walked away. Well, now MAHA hits, and we're trying to do things to make people healthy. Well, now they're trying to come back to the table, but we went with Lloyd's of London, and we now have an insurance policy that comes in. And basically, what we're able to do is we're able to save not only the employer thousands of dollars if you have under 1,000 employees, we can save you about $500,000 there. But somebody that is very, very large, we're going to be able to save them, millions of dollars. And so these are things that as you look at it and the cost. And so we have Invita Healthcare in Scottsdale, and they had an independent source that came out and looked at every oncology facility across the United States. And second place is right here. But Invita came in at 3,500% higher and better outcomes than second place. And so we get 99% of stage 4 cancer we have positive outcomes with. And so these are things that we're trying to change and get people healthy. We're doing alternatives. It's the only insurance company that has 7,000 ICD and CPT codes specifically to homeopathic and naturopathic medicine, to acupuncture, to chiropractic. And we're the only insurance company that your primary health care, if you're, have some other insurance and you don't take our insurance, if you get a script, then our insurance, we have cafeteria plans that can help, and we can facilitate and get that. So if you have Blue Cross Blue Shield and you want Invita to actually do your treatment, you get your primary health care provider to give you a second opinion. You come to Invita, they'll help you and give you the plan. And like I said, our last, and I'll do this real quick, our last patient was an 82-year-old lady who had gone to 6 different oncology facilities. All of them told her that she was 82, that she lived a good life. She needs to get her affairs in order. When the pain gets too bad, go to hospice, and she has 6 to 8 months to live. She comes to Invita, about 9 inches thick of paperwork, go through there. She goes, "Can you help me?" And we said, yes. And she goes, "Well, how much will that cost?" And we said, "Well, it'll take about 4.5 months and about $209,000. Now, this is a multi-millionaire. And so she writes the $209,000 check. In 8 weeks, 2 months, halfway into it, we do a scan and she's cancer free. Wow. And so we write her back a check of $109,000. These are all things that are going on right now with what we're trying to do. And we're implementing health into all of the clinics and pharmacies. We're going to create, compounding pharmacies where we're not having to worry about what's going on with China or Mexico or any of these other countries. We're able to do this and take care of our people here on American soil.
Well, we got a good taste into that, but we didn't. I'll have you back and we can talk more about the ins and outs of this. Other than Dave Weinbaum Show, where can people find you?
You can find me at positiveenergyaz.com. That's my website. You can put your name and information and request more information about trying to be a part of Positive Energy and buying these clinics and stuff. And we'll be more than happy to, have partnership in making people healthy again.
You know, Jeff, I was turned down as an organ donor. They found out I never had a lesson.
Wow.
All right, my friend. Hi to your lovely bride and your son and whoever else is in your family. I appreciate your friendship. Believe me, I do. Okay.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you for having me on, and everybody needs to support Dave. I mean, you need to go and you need to support him and stuff. He doesn't do this. He does it for the love of the nation, but it still costs a lot of money to do this. And so I always plug him and do commercial for him because he doesn't do them for himself. He does them for others.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the comments too. And hi to everybody. Okay, we got 40 seconds roughly, and I thought it was a fun show.
Don't forget to come see us Tuesday night at City of Life Ministries.
Okay. Can I go on now and end the show? Because you're always speaking now.
Peters.
And now I get mixed up, and I can't thank my audience enough for listening to this show. And he's still listening. Look at him; he's happy. I will be back with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show. Let's see. I would say it's next Friday. Have a great weekend, guys.